Evening, everyone. How you doing? You all right? Good to see you all. Thank you very much for joining us. Joining me on your Friday night. Who have we got in? Hello. We've got Fuzz. Hello, mate. Yeah. Oh, yay, first baby. Yeah. Do you know what? That's a funny thing. You and Davey have been having like a race to get the first comment on videos, haven't you? It's great. I really appreciate it. I love it. So you got Fuzz. We've got Jay. Hello, mate. Good evening, pal. Hugh. Evening, mate. Dutch. You made it on time. You absolutely did, mate. Good to see you. Appreciate your time, pal. Andreas. Hello, mate. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. Sin, hello mate. Kim, there she is. Hello mate. Let's go. Evening mate. How you doing? Appreciate you joining us. I know you're busy on your Friday, mate, so I really appreciate your time, mate. Chris Restall, hello pal. Good to see you. Almost 9,000 subscribers, 8K. I know, mate. You know the channel's growth. You know, compared to some, I know. Don't get me wrong. It's not massive, but it's for me, it's incredible. It is a wonderful thing. Yeah, Rian, hello mate, psyched for this, enjoy everyone, thank you very much mate. Web155, hello mate. Sean Lewis, good evening. Farmer Mondo, good evening pal, hope you're well, thank you very much for joining us on your Friday evening. So yeah, I mean, 2 years old, the channel. Technically it's a couple of days after I posted my first video on the 4th of February 2 years ago. So, yeah, and I got a little notification a couple of days back from on my YouTube page just saying, you know, happy birthday, a little cake symbol, happy birthday. And I thought, you know what, well, no better excuse for a good old live stream. So it saved me, it's freed up my last couple of days to catch up on jobs because I haven't been spending the time recording tonight's video. But yeah, do you know what, 2 years, it's been such a wonderful journey. I think we're on 316 videos I think I've made up to now. 1 million views. I got the channel crossed over that threshold of 1 million views about a couple of weeks back, and that was I've never had 1 million of anything in my life. So, you know, 1 million views, that was incredible. Yeah, like it's just been said, almost 9,000 subs. We're almost there. So if you are watching, everybody, in YouTube, of course, and you haven't subscribed, please do jump on board and subscribe because I'm about 50 subs off 9,000 subscribers. But yeah, and within this 2 years, I've got a Giants partnership, which is amazing. I was incredibly proud of that. Got a G Portal partnership as well, which is amazing. There's just been so many wonderful things. But the best thing for me, on top of everything, obviously the channel's doing really well. I'm loving doing it. I love making the content. I've got such a huge passion for this game. I can just lose myself for weeks and weeks, and I'm sure you're all familiar with that feeling. But one of the best things, if not the best thing, regardless of all the, you know, the growth of the channel and views and videos and all that kind of stuff, is the friends and you guys who I've met along the way. I've been very fortunate to have met some of you in person, back at Llama in the Llama this year and Llama last year. It was wonderful to actually meet people in real life and shake hands and give hugs and actually meet people who appear in the chat. Share, there's one of you. Hello mate, hope you're well. Yep. Appreciate I appreciate all your baking that you did for Llama this year, mate. But yeah, there's one prime example. I met Cher at the first Llama, and you were there at the second one as well, and it's just wonderful. So yeah, it's a wonderful journey so far, and I hope it carries on and carries on and carries on because it's just wonderful. But having the social not the social media side of things, but the social side of things, like Discord, for example. The little community that we've created on Discord is just wonderful. You know, Dutch, who's in the chat there, he's a massive part of that in respect of he's kind of, it's his job now that he kind of like posts all the updates for mods and stuff, which is so helpful. It really is. So I've got Dutch, I really appreciate that, mate. I really do. It's very, very helpful indeed. But yeah, it's just great. It really is. Going to Llama 2026, I should think so, Farmer Mondo. Yeah, definitely, for sure. I'll be there if it's on. Absolutely, because it was a great time. It's great to see everyone in person who's there and, you know, meet some of the guys and gals from Giants. But also just to go out and see in real life all the stuff that we play around within the game here. You know, the big tractor, you know, all the machinery and stuff. It's just brilliant. A heck of an experience. So yeah, right. So what we're doing tonight, well, I thought I'd join you all on Calmsden Farm. Sean Lewis, quick question. Is there an owned items menu for 25? Can't find an owned items menu for 25. You can't find it. In respect to your vehicles, Sean, if you go into the menu here and go down to the bottom, this icon here, the prices, and you've got a handful of tabs at the top. If you go, if this is what you're referring to, mate, this is the essentially your garage, if that's what you're referring to. So this is a list of all your equipment that you've got on the farm. It even tells you the number plates that you've installed on them. It gives you the condition, leasing cost, how much hours you put on, and their current value. And you can sell them from here. But again, if you want to get top dollar for the bits and bobs that you need, that you have and you want to sell, take them to the shop, because you'll get a considerably larger amount of money if you sell them. Is that what you're referring to, Sean? Is that what you mean, mate? So there we go. Yeah, so what we're doing, we've got quite a few jobs to do, actually. I thought if I'd have recorded this episode, it would have been quite a busy one, because we've got quite a bit to do. But a couple of things I am going to do. One thing that I've been wanting to do to include more in the episodes is this Massey Ferguson tractor. When I started off the save, when I created it and, you know, give myself a load of equipment and all that kind of stuff, I didn't give it the engine enhancement that you can do. Hey Rocco, how you doing, mate? You all right? So yeah, this is only like 205 horsepower, and it's a little bit asthmatic in that respect. It's a bit weak and a bit underpowered. So I need to throw a chunk of money at this Massey Ferguson and give it the bigger engine upgrade. TVD Blunt, mate, thank you so much. That's very kind, mate. Kicking off the super chat there, $23.99. Thank you very much, mate. That's very generous. Appreciate it. Congrats, mate. Yeah, mate, legend. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support there. Scott, can't figure out how to delete the stone walls on Calmsden like I did. That's Giants Editor, mate. Yeah, you can only do that in Giants Editor. You have to load up the map and fly around in Giants Editor and remove them. You could, in fact, I don't know whether it might work or not, but are you on PC, Scott? If you're on PC, you might be able to use the Map Objects Hider mod. That might work. I can't 100% confirm that, but I think you can, because that particular wall in Giants Editor was actually made up of two parts, or many parts actually, but you've got the lower part, and then there's a load of bricks along the top. Yeah, PC only, the Map Objects Hider mod is, Scott. But yeah, you can, using Map Objects Hider, you can delete stuff, but whether that'll work or not with that particular wall, I'm not too sure. Chimera, there she is. Oh, mate, thank you. That's very generous, mate. Look at that, a handful of channel memberships there. It's very kind, mate. Happy 2 years. It's been a very happy 2 years, mate, and I'm looking forward to many more, I've got to say. It's been absolutely wonderful. It is wonderful. It still is wonderful, and it's going to be wonderful. It really is. So, yeah, right. So, I need to throw a load of money at this tractor to give it a bit more power. One thing I'm going to do, I'm trying to think of the right order in which to do things. I've got to go and pick up a load of, I've already bought them, but I've got to go and pick up a load of bags of, in fact, we'll do that now, actually. Come on, let's do that. I've bought a load of bags of solid fertilizer over at the shop. Now, I could do things absolutely properly and do it in the telehandler, but I'm going to do it in the Massey with the flatbed trailer, utilising universal autoload, because it is absolutely wonderful. And I tell you what, though, we've had, the last couple of weeks, we've had some really cool script mods come to the game, haven't we? Quite a few, to be honest. And one of them in particular, which I was extremely excited about, and it has enabled me to do something that I've been wanting to do back on Riverbend Springs for quite a while. It's the, I've got it jotted down here. What's it called? No Restricted Fences by Arrow. It's an absolutely brilliant little bit of genius that enables you to place fences where you couldn't ordinarily place them, and I can confirm it does actually work with the pasture fences as well. So that is absolutely brilliant. So I've been able to, those of you who've watched my or have been watching my Riverbend Springs series, it's just it's a tiny little thing. It's almost completely inconsequential to the flow of the game and the series and where it's going to go. It's literally nothing, but it's just allowed me to replace the border fencing for my little sheep pasture around a massive rock face that's on the land of my farm on Riverbend Springs. So I've been able to completely redo that, encompassing this rock face, and I made the sheep pasture a little bit bigger. But it was just what I wanted to do. That's literally all it was. But I couldn't do it because of the restriction that we had from the construction menu. You're making me a housewarming gift share. That's very kind, mate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The hide mods works on most walls. Does it not work on that wall, mate? Right, let me just pull up to this one here. Whiskey Creek Farms, hello mate, hope you're well. So Shift and R. Boom, boom, boom. There we go, nice and easy. But yeah, some of the script mods that we've had come out in the last couple of weeks have been absolutely brilliant. And it is making this game, turning it into exactly what we want it to be, isn't it? Modders to the rescue and all that. I have actually written down a list of loads of mods that we've... some of them, I've picked a few of them out from the mod hub that have come out in the last couple of weeks. Just ones that are worth a mention. Some of them are returning mods from FARMERSIM 22 that have been redone for FARMERSIM 25. But they're all just brilliant. One of your blankets. Oh, share. That's very... Do you know what? Me and Mrs. FS love a blanket. Got to say, when we get chilling out on the sofa downstairs. It does work, Rocco. Brilliant. That's good to hear. Did it remove it in one go? Or did you have to do it in sections? Did it remove the entire wall and the top bit as well? Because the bottom and the top are actually separate in Giant's editor anyway. They're kind of separate. You've got the main wall that follows that curve around what was the cow pasture, and then the top blocks of the wall are all individually separate. So I had to, in Giant's editor anyway, doing things the way I do, deleting them, I had to delete hundreds of them individually. But either way, it's all good. I did pick a great farm on Riverbend Springs, like the different levels. Yeah, do you know what? That's one of the reasons why I went for it, Chris, because it was just a little bit... it was just a little bit different. I like to, you know, customise the farm. Where am I going here? You see, talking and driving at the same time. I just want to leave this somewhere where it's not going to get in the way, because we don't need this right away. Oh, do you know what I did as well? What I didn't do was call in at the workshop. But I do actually have to make another trip back to the shop. See, just enjoying the chat, not concentrating on what I'm doing. Because what I am going to do, when I set the farm up, I gave myself a load of equipment and stuff that I thought I would need. Now, one of those bits of equipment is the manure spreader. I thought, yes, I'm going to, you know, I'll be utilising the manure spreader and spreading the manure. But when I purchased, or when I picked up the land that the biogas plant is on, costs nothing. And also check it out as well. Obviously, we've got the manure bunkers are working now thanks to the latest fix. What we got here, 18,171 litres. So we're going to be selling this. Faffing, yes, mate, faffing. King Faffer. My colour scheme share. Oh, I don't know. Do I have a colour? Oh, I suppose. You know, well, I don't know. I've never really had a colour scheme. Do I have a colour scheme? I suppose the FARMERSIM logo has a colour scheme in that it's got a bit of blue, blue and gold, blue, gold, white, and black. I think the majority of the logo is. So if you were mate, you're very kind. That's very kind. If you were going to forge forward with this wonderful idea, yeah, blue, black, gold, and white. I think. There you go. Where was I? Yeah, when I purchased the biogas plant land, obviously I now own the biogas plant, so all the manure and the slurry I can put into there, earn from it, but still get digestate out as a return. So I'd no longer need the manure spreader, so I'm going to sell it, and because we're down to 77 grand now, which is an enormous amount of money, of course, but in the game it doesn't go very far, does it? So I'm going to we're going to sell this manure spreader, which I think is just north of 100 grand. I'm going to throw, I think it's, I want to say about 40 or 50 grand at the engine upgrade for this here tractor. It just means I'm going to be able to use this tractor for a bit more stuff without it struggling, because I tried to drag the Bredel K165 lime spreader full of lime with this thing, and it almost tore itself in half. So if I give it the extra oomph that it will need, I think it should be able to cope. Because so far in the series, I've done a bit. I've used the We have used everything once or twice. I've used the Fent more often than the JCB and this thing, just purely because it's the only thing that's got the power. So let's jump out of here. I think the icon is roughly, but I'll bang on. There we go. So don't need to repair it. Sell it. £102,612. Lovely. Right, so we'll do that, and then we shall pop this thing within the confines of that trigger there. There we go. Back to the icon. I want to customize it, and we're going to give it that 50 grand. Yeah, so we go from 205 horsepower to 305 horsepower. 50 grand for 100 horsepower. It sounds about right, to be fair, in real life terms. Customize. Yes, thank you. So that's going to bring the bank balance down to, or up still from what it was, £130,000. But now this beastie has got a bit more oomph. And there's another mod, actually, another mod that I wanted to... This is one of the mods that I've been waiting for an extremely long time. Advanced Game Settings by Rockstar. This is brilliant. If none of you have got it, get it, because it's brilliant. You can do so much customization within the game. Like, for example, if I get out the... You see that fade? If I get in and out of a tractor, and it happens when you flick between... You get it when you come out of a menu. You get like a nice fade, and you can customize that to them in the milliseconds. I like things like that. But what it has... I'll show you that. We'll go into the thing here. I'll show you. Where are we? So if you go to the main settings option here, you've now got an additional box here, additional settings. And you can turn the HUD off and on. You can customize the color of the interface if you want to. So you can get rid of the FARMERSIM 25 green. You can go back to the FARMERSIM 22 blue and a host of other colors if you so wish. Crosshairs on and off. There's the fade effect. So I've increased it to like 500 milliseconds. You can turn all your information boxes off and blinking warnings and all that kind of stuff. Customize the items that are in your shop. You can select the custom lighting option for the different maps that you've got in your mod folder. Of course, we've got Calmsden on here. It's the vehicle camera smoothness and the player camera smoothness. That was the one. Those were the two options that I really, really needed back for me in the way I do me. You know, when I faff around with my cinematics, the camera smoothness is imperative to that. So yeah, and you can turn the depth of field on and off. The camera collision adjustment. I've been desperate for that one as well. So now, when you're swinging, when you're in cab view and you're out of cab view and you're swinging around, you don't bash into buildings with your camera. You can put the date on and stuff so you can see what's there. But yeah, it's an amazing mod. I was very, very excited for that. But obviously, like I say, the camera collision, if I was to swing around in a circle now, the building would get in the way. But now it doesn't. And it does that with all these sheds and stuff like that. So, Leroy, hello, mate. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you, pal. That's very... Mate, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Happy birthday, big man. Thanks, mate. Yeah, if only I was 2 again, though, that would give me a few more years of life ahead of me, wouldn't it? But yeah, thank you very much, mate. That's very kind. Do you think a 4X map comes to console? Love to play on Vintage Oaks. Do you know what? I'd love to see Vintage Oaks back in 25. I loved that map, especially with Chimera's Magic Touch, the custom farm that was very kindly created for me. I do miss that map so much. But I've actually been chatting with FARMERSIM Briscoe recently on Discord. He's working night and day almost on Saxlingham, and he's learning a lot. He's because obviously, if anybody knows a brief history of FARMERSIM Briscoe, in FARMERSIM 22, the Oaks was his first ever map that he ever made, which was obviously, those of you who know, it was a 4X, and then he made the Vintage Oaks, which was just there was a couple of other maps as well that he made along the way, but he's now turning his hand to Saxlingham, which looks gorgeous, by the way. So far from what we've seen, it looks absolutely incredible, and he's learning a lot, so he's using Blender now to do things and modelling. He's been doing some custom modelling and buildings and stuff, and he showed me a few images on Discord, and some of the buildings that he's made look incredible, and he's sweating over the small stuff as well, which it's that kind of level of attention to detail that make maps so special. Just knowing that a particular tiny again, it's another completely inconsequential part of the map. It's just the detail on a house that you'll drive past sometimes. But he's really going to town on the detail, and that's, you know, exquisite levels of detail and, you know, focus, and it's wonderful. It really is. 2 again. You like to be, yeah. Well, maybe not quite that far, Dutch, but yeah. Here for a bit manic today. It's good to have you here, Leroy. I must admit, thank you, mate. It's really good to see you. Glad you're here. Right. So what am I? So what? Right. Let me just consult the list of things. So I've sold them in your spreader. I've upgraded the massey. We've now got a bit of oomph. I'm going to move. I'm going to be taking. I want to sell the milk and the manure and the slurry. We're going to take to the biogas plant. So we're going to be doing a couple of. We're going to be driving back and to for a few minutes just to. I'm going to take you up to the dairy. I'm keen to show you that those of you who haven't seen the episode that I made over here on Calmsden, I think it might have been episode 2 or 3. I did. I placed a dairy down. I know that the new version of Calmsden, when it does get released on the mod hub, and no doubt in the next week or so, couple of weeks, Oxy has put in a dairy onto the map. But I put my own in, and I put it over on the patch of land that the biogas plant is on, and I spent a ridiculous amount of time doing something completely pointless and just wasting many, many hours of my life landscaping it. So I believe this is where I get my milk from. Hey Fuzz, hey buddy, great to see you stream today. It's great to have you, mate. Thank you very much for joining me, Fuzz. It's joining us, sorry. It's great to have you, mate. Now this is the first time that I've actually got milk out of this cow barn, and I can only assume that it is down here in the bottom corner. So let me just bring up the F1 menu. I need to open the lid. Are we here? There we are. Start filling. Buffalo milk? No. Oh, yeah, we go. Yeah, 11,651 litres of milk. I was going to say, I don't have any buffalo. So how are we all doing anyway? I hope you're all doing very well. What's been going on in your world? Is anything, what you got going on this weekend? Anything? Mean robots, hello, mate. Yes, I did. I upgraded this cowshed. I did all this at the very beginning. When Calmsden first came out, now that we all have the ability to completely custom the buildings that we didn't have the chance to do with the 22 version, I just jumped on the chance because, like a lot of us, I'm sure, the whole farm building side of things, I absolutely love. I can lose myself for days, hours, days, weeks building farms, and because it's just a wonderful thing. And not even, you know, I can start a save, and before I've even got a tractor, I can spend 20 or 30 hours just creating the farm, and it's just a wonderful aspect of this game. I've said this so many times, I know that on my episodes and stuff, but it's just brilliant. And that's exactly what I did up here. In a minute you'll see what I did, and I just, well, I'll show you when we get there, but yeah. Tony Beck, thank you very much, mate. Happy 2nd birthday. That's not been said to me for 41 years. Appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Good to see you. Good to have you join us on your Friday evening. Appreciate your time. But yeah, it's you got to pay better attention when you watch me vids. No, that's all good, mate. I can imagine my voice sends most people to sleep, so... When am I going to hang out with you and your crew, Fuzz? When I can, I will, mate. I absolutely... Oh, goodness me, went round there a bit fast. Not used to the 300 horsepower that this thing's got. Yeah, when I can, I will. Life's really busy at the minute. We're almost in real life. We're the house is just sold. We're in the process of the whole faffery with dealing with all the bits and bobs and paperwork and all that kind of stuff. And that's going to be happening sometime... What are we on now? It's the 7th of February. Possibly by the end of March. We might be out by, possibly. We haven't settled on a date yet or anything like that. We're still in the process of getting to that stage. the buyers of this house are still, I think they're still waiting for a bit of stuff to happen from the buyers of their house, and you know, there's a chain involved in there. So yeah, life's very, very busy. So as soon as I get the go ahead, and it's gonna be tough. There might be possibly a week or so. I'm hoping, because my main focus, as much as moving house is a crazy thing, my main focus is this. I don't want to lose my traction. I don't want to upset the YouTube algorithm. I don't, you know what I mean? I desperately want to make sure that I keep on top of my content. So what I'm going to be doing is, when we get the go ahead, the first thing I'm going to do is move all of this, which it's not just a computer and a monitor. There's all the guff that goes with a YouTube channel and making videos and stuff, stream decks and a million USB ports and extensions, and I've got 4 monitors in front of me, and all this is going over to my mum's house, which is over there directly that way, because we're going to be bunking in with mum for a few months just to sort a few things out. So it's going to be like a temporary living space, which is going to be a nightmare. But the first thing I'll be moving is this computer into there, setting it up. I've got to get a new internet connection over there that's super high speed, that I can do all this, so it doesn't take me a day to upload a video. So there's so much to do. I've still got to sort the room out over there. I've got to build the desk so I can put the computer in and put the bed in. It's a bloody nightmare, but I'll get there. So anyway, yeah, to answer the question, there's so much to do that I don't, at the minute, I haven't played this game, technically played it for, well, 2 years. Since I started making the channel, I very rarely get to sit and play the game and just enjoy it, and when I'm not record, because if I get my time at the computer, I have to record, because that's what I do now. So yeah, it's yeah, everything's up in the air at the minute, but I wouldn't worry about the traction on here, mate. We'll be here whenever. That's very kind, Mean Robots. Appreciate that, mate. Every Monday, Wednesday night, you just taught me to sleep, and then I wake up hours later with my phone glued to my I can talk anyone to sleep. I'm surprised any of you are still awake now, to be honest. Chellington Valley, Sean. I spent, well, I want to say thousands of hours, hundreds of hours. I loved that map. It's a beauty, it really is. It was. I know that's definitely not coming back to 25. We've got this one. We've got Court Farms is coming back at some point, and then we've got the masterpiece that it looks like at Whitcomb Park Farm that'll be coming later in the year, possibly next year, perhaps. Good things are worth waiting for, though, aren't they, people? But yeah, this is what I did. Look at what I did. This is the dairy I placed down. This was the whole point of doing this ridiculous exercise, this tiny little dairy, just so that I could take my milk somewhere and get it sold. And then I thought to myself, oh, I know, I'll just make it look a little bit pretty. I'll put a bit of grass here and a couple of bushes here. And then this happened. Again, complete waste of time. This took me, if I remember correctly, it was somewhere around 3.5 hours, maybe 4 hours-ish. It's just, I haven't turned time on, sorry about that. It's ridiculous, really, quite frankly. But I even went to when I started landscaping the centre, I thought I'd put a big grass patch in. But as you can see the NPC character having a wander here. All of them kind of follow a track, don't they? The NPC characters. And they started wandering across my freshly laid grass patch that I was landscaping. So I ditched all that and made them a path and put walls either side. So now, in my mind, all the NPC characters who work in these buildings here that do nothing, I made them a little area to come and have their lunch. So they've got this lovely little water feature, because I can't get enough of these water features either. This is a beautiful mod that came out weeks ago. Forgive me, I can't remember the name of the modder. It's not one I've written down on my list here, but it's just called like Lakes and Ponds or Rivers or something, I think. It's on the mod hub. And it's brilliant. You just carve a hole in the floor using the construction menu, of course, and then just lay the water plane flat into the hole. And it's the same, it reacts to, if I jump in the water, you've got the water physics, you've got the ripples and stuff that FARMERSIM 25 has. You even saw the white. I mean, that's awesome. But yeah, you just place it down, and it's brilliant. Martin, hello, mate. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us on your Friday evening, buddy. Good to have you on board. To keep the algorithm happy, you can pre-record a couple of knots. Yes, I know. Oh, I'm fully aware of that, TVD. Yeah, I know. And I will be doing that as soon as I can. But it takes because of the way I make my videos and because of the software that I use to render the video once I've made it, it takes me a day, literally, from, you know, start and finish kind of thing, to make one video. I know for other people, if they use, I mean, I don't use Adobe or anything like that, but I know Adobe can make things much quicker. But I tried using Adobe a good few months ago, and I just couldn't adapt to it. You know, when you just kind of set in your ways and you're used to sort of how something works, and because I didn't want to start relearning everything again, I'd used this particular piece of software for so long that I really did stress out about the concept of changing over to it, and I couldn't figure out how to do what I do with my cinematics and stuff in. I know you can, don't get me wrong, I know you can do it, other people do it, but yeah, I just couldn't adapt to it, so I've stuck with what I know. So it takes me a day to make a video, so it's sometimes more. It's taken, I've had videos before that have taken me 2 days to make, where I've had to stop recording and carry on recording the next day, because Farming Simulator, it can take a long time to do one job, can't it? Small update, Pallet passed. Oh, Pallet Chimera, if you're still... Oh, there you are there, mate. So have you gone skinny dipping in that pond there yet? No, that I have not. Right, I think this is that. There we go. There's my tip trigger. Right, perfect. I was going to use auto drive for this, but because I have wired in, I spent a whole load of time as well. I'll just bring it up because it's I do love a bit of auto drive, but the whole thing here is completely mapped in. I spent ages doing that as well. Those of you who know what auto drive is know how it's absolute benefit. Yeah, Pallet Chimera, very excited for that. I did a map tour of that on 22, and it is, without wanting to use overly dramatic adjectives, it is exquisite. It is a gorgeous map, and just because of the timing of it, I couldn't commit to making a series in 22, and I'm strongly considering possibly doing something on there for 25, because with the new engine behind the FarmSim 25 and the new effects and the new visuals and all the lovely stuff that we have with FarmSim 25, Pallet stands to be absolutely gorgeous, and it's just such a beautiful map. Argsy, hello mate, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it may be in your corner of the world, buddy. Good to see you. Happy channel birthday, mate. Thank you very much, that's very kind, buddy. Good to see you. Yeah, 2 years old, mate, 2 years old, out of diapers and everything. Is Pallet out, or is it pending release? It's pending release, I believe. As what did Dutch say there? It's past testing, so hopefully, if it's past testing, that means it could be released possibly this week coming, hopefully. I mean, that'll be amazing. It's yeah, I'm looking forward to getting my eyes on with Pallet. It is staggeringly beautiful, and I can only assume, because it is a 1x map, isn't it? So I'm assuming it's going to be an all platforms thing, so those of you playing on console will be able to enjoy its beauty as well. I'm pretty sure it was an all platforms map back on 22 as well. Jacob Magna, FARMERSIM, how do you make the Courseplay not miss bits? That's down to the fine-tuning of the setup of the course. Now, of course, until it misses bits, you don't know if it's going to miss bits or not until it has missed a bit. But when you... So, I'll... It's going to be difficult for me to demonstrate this, because I'm not necessarily going to be using Courseplay today. I'm going to be doing everything freehand. But which bits are you... If you're referring to bits... So there's a couple of main settings. Sorry, I tend to stop driving while I'm talking sometimes, don't I? There's a couple of main settings that you can change to try your best. There's the... do you know what? We'll do this now. Let me bring up the Courseplay menu. Let's jump in here. So... There's this bit here first, tool settings, that you get in the vehicle settings for the vehicle you're currently in. Raise and lower tools. So if you raise tools late and lower tools early, by default it's set to raise early and lower late. But if you change raise to late and lower to early, that it'll catch things at the beginning of up and down rows, and it'll make sure it gets everything at the end of every up and down row, for example. Does that make sense? So always change that. That is my personal opinion anyway. This is what I've always done. Always change that in every vehicle that you're going to be using Courseplay for. The other one is when you go to your fieldwork settings. Where are we? Right. So this isn't actually going to work necessarily because... Oh, it will. There we go. Right, so fieldwork settings. This is the other one I'm going to say to do, or the other two. Headland overlap. By default, I think this sits at 7%. In 22, I used to always, just by default, turn that up to the maximum, which I think was 25, and that is essentially how... So if you imagine my two hands are each one is a headland. So this is the outside, this is the inside. That percentage is how much they will overlap. So if your headlands are going round a corner like that, and sometimes the machine will tend to miss stuff on the outer edge of a headland sometimes. So if you have an overlap, you give it more of a fighting chance of not missing bits between headlands. Does that make sense? So in 25, I've found that 15% tends to be a nice sweet number. I've found that I haven't really missed any parts of any field with a 15% overlap, and the raisin lower tool set to late and early the other way from what they are as default. And the other one, the other important one, I'm pointing at the screen here, why am I doing that? The other one here is the field margin. Now what that does, if you see, I've got mine set to minus 0.4. So if I jump out here, so the field margin, if you say we're going to plot a course in this field, if I stand right on the very edge of the field here, we're calling this 0. So if I change that field margin to a positive value, I'm gonna bring the course into the field. If I change it to a negative value, I'm then increasing the size of the field technically. So Courseplay, if I keep it at 0, Courseplay will call this the edge of the field. If I plotted it with a minus 0.4 like what I do, kind of roughly about here is the edge of the field. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't miss bits along the field edge. So I hope that's a relatively brief explanation and a bit of a help. Forgive me, let's catch up on the chat. Who have we got there? Can't wait to remake your farm on Pallet, Chimera. Can't wait. Mate, I'm looking forward to seeing that, I really am. Blaney is a beautiful map, Argsy. We had that running on a multiplayer set. Yeah, it really is, mate. It is a gorgeous map. The detail in just every single aspect of the map. There was that one and Deutschland. I know they were made by different people. Deutschland was Edo mod. And that am I correct in saying, after the last few days of news that have been released from Giants, am I correct in saying that it looks like Deutschland is going to be it looks like it's going to be a base game map? Is that factually incorrect or not? Or is that just conjecture? I don't know. But yeah, look, I'm looking forward to Deutschland. I loved Deutschland back on 22. And and obviously we all knew that Edo Mod had written that there was going to be an extension for 25. So we're going to be getting the same map as 22 plus a bit more. So that's very exciting. You're very welcome, Jacob. No problem at all. I hope those little bits of those little tips can help. It is possible to do. I know that the AI workers that we got from FARMERSIM 25 for FARMERSIM 25 were a massive improvement on top of 22. So in the first few weeks of 25 being released, obviously when Courseplay didn't exist, I was still able to do and make the videos like the way I wanted to make them using the AI workers, and they were very effective, and I was very impressed with them. Yeah, so where are we? Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up on the chat here. Field border overlap and headland overlap are the best invention ever. Absolutely, TVD, you're absolutely right there. Hey up, Mark, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Happy anniversary, thanks, pal. Yeah, it's 2 years old, mate. 2 years and going. Good to see you. Appreciate you joining us on your Friday evening. Hope all's well, mate. Hope all's well. Per Olof Adolfsson, good evening, mate. Hope you're well. You find squaring off the corner. Yes, Rian, squaring off the corners does help if it's a square field, of course. Again, it's all down to the shapes and size of the field, and again, another wonderful aspect of the game, isn't it? And the fact that we've got so many different approaches to so many different jobs in this game. And there's another thing I love, the banging of the trailer. How awesome is that? It really is cool. You haven't seen anything... Was I wrong with that, Args? So it was something. I'm sure it was Facebook or something. I saw that on the other day, or it might have been Discord. I don't know. But there seemed to be talk that it looked like it was Deutschland. But anyway, I don't know whether that was just a doctored image then, maybe. So don't quote me on anything like that, ladies and gentlemen. Then just ignore what I said. Right. So we're going to be. I'm taking the manure and the slurry that we have in the cow barn here over to the biogas plant to start processing it so we can earn a little bit of money from the electricity and the methane that it will produce, and then get it turned into digestate. Hence the whole purpose for selling the manure spreader, and we'll keep the slurry tank there. Let's get that lid on, go for another quick journey back over to, in fact, what I will actually do while I'm here, very quickly, so I can properly catch up on the chat. Go into my auto drive here. I want to go to BGA silage manure tip. No, wrong one. I need to tip at silage manure tip. There we go. Right, now I can drive and talk at the same time. Edomod is working on another map at the minute. A true. Yes, I did see images of that. Args, again, I mean, his mods and his maps are absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? So it does look very, very nice. No faffing around in settings menus. Press H, press OK, press H again, done. No, I know that the AI workers, the user interface for the AI workers, I think is incredible. It's so easy, so straightforward, but the difference between and they are very effective. When I used the AI workers before Courseplay came out, I found them to be very effective. The coverage that they got on a field running a harvester, for example, I think they barely missed anything, whereas back in 22, I mean, they barely spent any time in the field, let alone missing anything. They were all over the place, weren't they? But these ones are very, very good. Good evening, Neil Beresford. I'm very well, thank you, mate. Thanks for asking. How are you? Hope you're good. Appreciate you joining us on your Friday evening, mate. No, forgive me, Dutch. I think I was well off with it. I just remember seeing an image, and I'm sure it said Deutschland, and it had the same, but maybe it was just a doctored image, like I say. Yeah. 69 watching, only 34 thumbs up. Cheers, Big Buck Down. Yeah, give us if there's a few of you in there, please hit the like button. It does helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. Helps to spread the word of the stream. So if you are able to, and you don't mind, give that like button a hit. Yeah, so hey up Orb, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Silver Run is coming back. Yes, it is indeed, isn't it, mate? I did enjoy that map. It was I loved the logging league that ARGS and FSG did on there. That was some entertainment. It was brilliant fun watching that back on 22. Having a few people getting caught out by the train, crossing over the railway track in a truck or a logging trailer and getting smashed into by the train. That was great. I also like the banging of the trailer, but I think they should bang a bit less when they are loaded. If I'm honest, I suppose you're right. It's not. I don't think it's banging any less. But either way, you'd expect bangs and rattles from a big chunky trailer behind you, wouldn't you? My favourite mod has been, and yes, Mark, the mini BGA. Hello, money. Yes, I have that down. Again, it's the timing of if I hadn't have done this a few episodes back and bought this base map BGA with the area and done all that kind of stuff, obviously a disturbed mini biogas plant would have been in there. Absolutely. It's a very, very handy mod, that it really is. It's a lovely little thing. Pretty sure there was something on the 2025 roadmap that mentioned Edo, or are you given that I think that's where my mind is as well. I'm sure we might have seen the same thing. Yes, so I think, yeah, I'm sure I'm not going mental with that, but hey ho. AI worker is now ploughing Riverbend near 24 big field. You might have to bring logging lead back when silver. Please do, mate, because that was some wonderful entertainment. It was incredible. The amount of setup that went into that was incredible. Here we are. We're going to be put the auto drive course to the test. Come on. Oh, you swine. I knew I set it. Oh, it worked. I set it up with the Fendt, with it didn't have the double wheels. Oh, I mean, technically it's going to work, but it's just that little nubbin that's sticking out of the bin there. Right. Okay. Right. Well, at least I know it works. So let's just pull myself out of that little nightmare very quickly. So we're going to get back to what we're going to do now. I need to hook up the slurry tank, bring the slurry back up here, and then I'm going to turn on the biogas plant and we'll get processing that manure and the slurry. And then I think if I can, then the next job, yeah, that's all the little drive around jobs then done. Then we need to, it's essentially going to be a whole load of drilling. I need to spread some lime in field 7, which was the grass field. We're gonna turn that to arable. So we're going to be drilling some wheat, spread some lime, drill some wheat, and drill some barley. That's essentially what we're going to be cracking on with this evening. Hello, fellow tall person. Hey up, Yoss. How are you, mate? Good man, fellow tall person. Yeah, proper sized human beings, me and thee, mate. Good to see you. Appreciate you joining me, mate. Joining us. Hope you're well. I've got to say, Yoss, and to everyone who's involved with Llama, I really appreciate. We really appreciate all the hard work and organising that you guys did behind the scenes to sort out our little shindig at Llama. It was awesome. It really was. I'm not wearing my Llama t-shirt, actually. I should have been wearing that tonight, shouldn't I? The community meetup, that was so much fun. It was absolutely brilliant. Should have bought less wheat. I know. I've got to. I know everything in farm sim. Everything when it comes to tractors is, it's entirely functional. But goodness me, I'm trying to talk and drive and look at the chat at the same time and wiggling everywhere. You are a hat today. Excuse me. The remnants of man flu from a few weeks ago. It's been a tough one to get over, this dose of man flu that I had a couple of weeks ago. It's a lingerer. It hasn't gone away properly. Yeah, I should have bought less wheels. I like a tractor with double wheels, and so I had to have one, and they're narrow, so I'm not gonna. I've got crop destruction turned on, so I'm not going to be destroying my crops while I'm using it. Right, what we're doing here. So I want to quickly just drop off the red rock here, which is a beautiful trailer, by the way. I was really gutted that we're not going to be seeing the Richard Weston trailer pack from Elite Farming come back, because I know he'd been working on it, and then he announced on Discord, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago that I think due to licensing issues or some kind of copyright or something, that he couldn't bring it back, which was an absolute terrible bit of news. Right, what am I doing here? Done everything completely wrong there, because I've parked the red rock right where I need to fill up with my slurry, haven't I? There we go. Fortunately, the fill trigger is vast, so there we go, fill that up. What did that say we had? About 30,000 litres. There might be a couple of trips here, mightn't there? Bum, 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 bum. 20,000 litres exactly. What have we got left in the cow barn? 12 and a bit, right? Well, we'll just do the one trip for now, shall we? And in fact, this is actually going to put my, possibly, if I can remember how I set it up, there might be a spot of reversing involved in this one. So let's send that one to BGA slurry tip, and again, I can do that. On its own, and I can have a look at the chat again. You are a hat today. You might be right, Rian. Honestly, I can't remember now. The brain is fried today. You've had a busy one, haven't you, mate? Milk Tanker J, good evening, mate. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Cheers for joining us. Hope all's good with you, mate. You like the yards I've made on here, mate, thank you. Cheers, Martin. I've building the whole construction thing. I've already got thoughts in my mind of wanting to change things, but because I'm doing it on the series, and because I don't have an endless supply of money, and I do feel sometimes I need to do things kind of properly, I can't just stop it and start it again and redo things and delete this and change that and do that, because I'm trying to, now that I've established the farmers on the series, and we've started, and we've got moving on it. I may well change some things, but because there's been some lovely shed mods been released these last week or so as well, that have made me go, oh, I really wish I had that when I was making the farm. And so I'm thinking, oh, could I change that and put that there? But then I thought that'll change the whole setup of the farm, so I'm just going to have to bite my lip and stop faffing around, quite frankly. Tin Man, evening buddy, how you doing? Good evening FS and friends, happy anniversary to you, mate. Thank you very much, very kind, Tin Man. It's good to see you. Hope all's good with you, mate. Hope all's good with you. I'm glad I put that extra 100 horsepower into this tractor, because that proper struggled up that hill there, didn't it? With the 200 horsepower that it had half an hour ago, I think we would have started going backwards, don't you? But yeah, so now I may as well do that now, won't I? So let's jump into the production systems. There you are, Mark. See, Mark Haythornthwaite, everybody. Mr. Time Saving Stock Check. Absolute must-have mod in every single game, that one. Right, what am I doing? Productions. There we go. Right, so manure, biogas plant. Change output mode. Now I want to turn that on, and we want to turn slurry on. Yeah, there we go, and we'll earn. It's the same for that, isn't it? 303 electric and 2 methane. 303 electric and 2 methane. When the silage is fermented, we're going to get quite a lot out of that, aren't we? A lot of it's going to be for the cows. For the TMR, we're going to fill a lot of it, but we've got almost 1 million litres, about 980,000 litres, I think, between the two bunkers and the bales that we've got in the shed. So I think I may well be able to afford to pop some in there as well. Are you only here? What have you been doing? Tractor? Yes, do you know what? I knew you'd say that. You, Trouble. Give in to the temptation, landscape, renovate, expand. Mate, I really want to. You know what it's like. Obviously, seeing the photos that you posted on Discord of your farms and stuff, I know that you lose yourself as well for hours and hours and hours just building farms, not touching fields, not ploughing, not doing anything. You just build farms, and it's a game in itself, I think. It really is. But yeah, I knew you'd say that. I can't stop thinking about them. I think about, things like this all the time. I'll wake up first thing in the morning before I've even got out of bed. Those few minutes where you kind of wake up and you're coming to terms with who you are and what you're doing and where you are and what time of day it is and all that kind of stuff. One of the first things that comes into my head is, right, what's going on in the series? What's going on Calmsden? What's going on Riverman? What can I do? What mods came out yesterday? What did I download? What can I add in? It's just goes on and on and on. Yes, you, Trouble. Here we go. Oh, it works, you see. Again, I think the tip trigger is quite vast here. And I didn't bump into that because I spent ages on this auto drive course. It's quite a complex one. The digestate pickup one's going to be it. That's the reverse one, and the slurry tip's well far forward there, isn't it? But right, okay. So you've done your job. Thank you very much. That will do. So now we can go crack on with a spot of field work. I think I've done everything that I wanted to do. Let me just consult my list. So I bought the solid fertiliser, we've sold the manure, we've upgraded the massey, we've taken the milk to the dairy, we've taken the manure to the biogas plant, the slurry to the biogas plant. So yes, now we're going to lime field 7, and then we're going to drill, or we're going to start drilling fields 4, 7 and 10. That is the work plan that I had for this evening's stream. So hence why I needed to buy more fertiliser, because we used, I think I put 8,000 litres of it in bag form on the shelves, and we used most of it just in that last field in the last episode, one of the last episodes anyway. So yeah, there we go. Plenty to do, of course. And again, that's one of the many wonderful things I love about this game, is there's never nothing to do, is there? There's always something, if not many things, to have to attend to, and managing it yourself is awesome. It really is. So But yeah, I think we'll get the liming done first, and I'm keen to see how this Massey, just the difference between what it was before and what it is now with the extra 100 horsepower, and how it'll just feel dragging the big K165 lime spreader. But yeah, this is a gorgeous map, isn't it? I'll never tire of it. I really won't. I'm sure a lot of us have spent, who've played this map, have spent hundreds of hours in 22 on this. I know I did. But the fact that it's back again for 25, and there's no... I've got no less motivation to play it. None of me... There's no part of me that's like, oh, but we've already done this before. And it's like, no. I'm so keen to get on with this. I've been testing a very good task list mod, not mine, which I think has been submitted to mod. A task... Ooh! Is that like a checklist mod, Mark? I like the sound of that. I do love a checklist. You've spent 7 hours building your farm, nearly done. Good man, Orb. Good man. You have to post some pictures on Discord, mate, when you're done. Keen to see that. Keen to see every farm build, to be honest, because, again, that's... You have your own style, don't you, I find? I have... don't get me wrong, I don't think I've got, like, an actual style, but you have your own method of building a farm, don't you? Placing things where your mind naturally likes to place things. And when you see other people's builds and you go, oh, I hadn't thought of that, or I hadn't, you know, even just looking at a basic layout of a farm that's different to yours, that gives you a little bit of inspiration. You think, oh, I might, you know, take that on board and consider that for my next farm build. And before you know it, once you've seen examples of other people's farms, you've then taken the level of your building up a notch, in a way, because you've then maybe integrated someone else's inspiration into your farm, and before you know it, you've got a load of... Do you know what I mean? Am I making sense? You've got like a load of inspiration from multiple people in your farm, which is awesome. Right, so let's put this away. I'm not into just abandoning things here, there, and everywhere. Everything has a place. Assuming I can actually reverse it into that place, of course. But yeah, everything has a place. Everything's got to be where it's meant to be. So, there we go. Rattle, rattle, bang. Drop that off there. Share them builds. All of them are brilliant. Absolutely, mate. That's what we like to hear. Right, so. Lime spreading. This might take a little while, perhaps. There we go. Hook that up. What have we got in here now? 5,034 litres. Okay. So, let's pull up to there. Start filling up. That is filling up, isn't it? Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. Filling up. Glad I went for the large capacity on this one, though. 18,950 litres. It's one of the tasks in this game. This is one of the tasks that I've never been a particular fan of, is lime spreading. Just purely because it just takes ages of going back with a normal lime spreader I used to use, the smaller ones that just hitch up onto the back of your tractor. Right, so... Well, this is definitely a big difference now with that extra power. Definitely a noticeable difference. That's more like it. So now the Massey will get a lot more work hours under its belt now, thankfully. So there we are. Neatly round the corner. Your farms tend to spread out in multiple locations, Tin Man. Yeah, again, I love that idea, and it's very, very much real to life as well. Some farms do have multiple sites, don't they? Nice and spread out, make use of a large amount of space. That's a nice idea. Your farms are always sterile, and when I see other farm builds, you get sad. What do you mean? But you mean clean and tidy, Dutch? It's the decoration side of things for me where you can build the detail in and make it look lived in and mucky. Or is that what makes you sad? You don't like seeing a mucky farm? Right, let's go in. There we go. Right. jump out of that. Right, so our first spot of field work. We're just literally over an hour into the series, into the episode. We've just touched into a field for the first time. Right, let me just make sure I'm getting right up to the edge. I'm assuming everyone else gets that as well, do they? That weird visual glitch sometimes. I've had it with seeding before, where the field texture doesn't change immediately. Has anyone had that? I've had that quite a lot on Riverbend. It's not a map specific thing. I've seen it on here and I've seen it on Riverbend, so it's obviously a game thing. You've never spent much time on Calmsden because you've had 30 real life years there. Well, that's understandable, mate, I suppose. If you're used to the place in real life, it's not going to be it's not going to hold a special place to you necessarily in the game, is it? But it is a gorgeous map. I can't wait for Court Farms as well. That was the series back on 22 that I almost made it to 100 episodes, and I was really keen to try and make to 100 episodes, but just the time, I think I only got to like 80 something. But Court Farms, definitely worth that's going to be definitely worth a look into. Welsh, there you are, mate. Hello, good to see you, mate. How did you miss the notification? Well, it is what it is, mate. It's good to see you. Is the PC built? Have you all up and running yet? Have you got your desk built, computer built? Love new PC day. Welsh has got a whole new PC set up for FARMERSIM, haven't you, mate? You do get that glitch. It seems less after patch 1.5. I'll be honest. I haven't necessarily noticed it being less. Like there, you see, you can still see triangles and odd glitchy shapes in the background there. Worse from in... Yes, I've noticed that, Butch. I've noticed it is worse in cab, for sure. I noticed it when I was doing a seeding job in cab over on Riverbend for the first time. So when I was sat in cab trying to make cinematic shots looking back at the seeder, it was like, well, the ground hasn't changed at all. It looks a bit weird. So that was but yeah, hopefully that'll get fixed in due course. Can't wait to see what magic you're going to do with build your farm like you did on Court Farms. Well, again, if Oxy does the same thing that he's done with Calmsden here, and he makes Court Farms the same, where he makes all the buildings placeable, that's going to open up a whole world of stuff, isn't it? So here is my question from Mark. Why play the same maps... Sorry, trying to read a question and navigate around a tree. Why play the same maps in the next version? Would you not prefer to have a new great map to enjoy rather than a remake? Yes. Again, very valid and completely understandable question. I'm playing Calmsden on 25 because it was actually something that was asked and requested of me quite a lot as a content creator, do a series on Calmsden. So I started at the very, very back end of 22. I started the Calmsden Chronicles, and it was a mini series because I just wanted to enjoy the map as a content creator and not just a player. And because everybody, look at the bits I've missed there. That's shocking, isn't it? So coming at it from a slightly different perspective, from my personal opinion anyway, I'm doing this now as a content creator because people seem to really enjoy the series so far. And trust me, I'm not trying to waste lime. I'm just trying to get those little bits around the edge there. Yeah, people really seem to enjoy the series so far. And it is really nice to fully exercise my creative spark, I suppose, on Calmsden properly, and in not just a mini-series, but in a series that I'm gonna try and carry it on as best as I can. I think what I might do, because obviously as a content creator, it is difficult to know when not to make a series and when to make a series, and to know when you've taken on too much, because this whole journey for me is a learning curve. I'm learning every single day. Back in 22, I took on more than I could handle, because when it comes to maps, I'm like a magpie to a shiny thing. Something comes out, it's a really nice map, and I go, oh my god, I want to play that. But because I no longer had the opportunity to play the game, you know, away from making content, just because of life and time and all that kind of stuff, I was like, right, well, every time I'm at the computer, I'm making content. So a map had come out and I'd be like, oh, got to do something. So I'd start a series, and before I knew it, I had more series than I had slots to make content for the week. So I then started saying, right, well, if I'm going to make the content, I'll just make an episode for a series for whichever one I feel like making. So I'll make one for Court Farms today, I'll do one for Tahitian County tomorrow, and this, that, and the other. But but then there's no regular schedule. There's no, right, Monday is Calmsden, Wednesday is this, Friday is this. Do you know what I mean? And now that, obviously, again, this is my first experience of being a content creator during the release of a new game. So, because I joined the content creator community, I think probably, I want to say maybe halfway through a little bit later than halfway through 22. So I need to be mindful of not looking at, a new map comes out, bang, I'm just going to suddenly make a series just because I like the look of it and I think I can make something nice from it. I need to be a bit more selective of what I choose to do. And it's very, very difficult because we've got Calmsden, we know Court Farms is coming back, which is a wonderful map. We've got Whitcomb Park Farm. Now that's, as far as I'm concerned, whenever that comes out, which will be end of the year, beginning of next year sometime, well, regardless, it doesn't matter when that comes out. I'm on that like a rash as far as I'm concerned. We've got Pallet coming up very soon, which I would very much like to do something on there because I didn't do something with it on 22 apart from a map tour. We've got Deutschland by Mod, which I did do a series on 22 with, because it is gorgeous. It is, and always will be a beautiful map. But then it's the difficulty of sticking with it, because, and it's all down to the viewer base and the popularity of a series. It can be very difficult to start a series, you get really involved in it, everyone seems to love a new series, and then the viewings just drop off after, what, 5, 6, 7 episodes, whatever, and then it becomes a difficult choice. It's like, oh goodness, nobody seems to really care about this anymore. As a content creator, it feels like the wrong decision to just stop making it and go and do something else. So yeah, there's a lot to think about, essentially. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I am very, very grateful to Oxy for bringing Calmsden back to 25, especially the game itself. There was a bit of a lull, don't you think? It felt that way anyway from a content creating perspective. There was a bit of a lull in the game because there was a few weeks where it was like everyone was getting pretty fed up and bored of the base game maps. There wasn't really any other maps that we could get our teeth into, and so I get the impression that Oxy kind of worked hard to turn Calmsden into the 25 version so that we all had something to play on. There are not a lot of maps available at the moment. I'm just disappointed that some of the maps that have been released are remakes, which is an easy hit. I do understand your point, Mark. You do make a very valid point, and it's completely understandable. From what I've learned just from reading comments, Facebook comments and stuff from modders, from map makers, obviously with 25 being a different game, because as much as people like to say, oh, it's just the same game with just, a couple of different things, and it's not. It isn't. There's so many differences behind the scenes that have made it, if you want to make a map from scratch and start from scratch and go, there's a lot to take on board, to factor in the new stuff that the new game has. So, and maps take time, don't they? They really do. FARMERSIM Briscoe is making good progress on Saxlingham. Yeah, he is, mate. He is. He's like I said earlier, I've been very fortunate enough to. I met him. I met him in person at Lammer. It was wonderful to had a lovely long chat with FSB. But yeah, he's learning a lot. He's teaching himself these things, and it's just incredible what he's doing, and the learning curve that he's going through is wonderful. Right, let me catch these patches here, and then I can try and neaten up my my coverage here, row by row, hopefully. There we go. What are we down to now? 40%. Okay. Fair enough. And Giants, that was a surprise, wasn't it? The VR thing. That, where the hell did that come from? It's not. Initially, when I first saw the advert for it, before I'd even read a single word about its description, I thought they were bringing VR to this, but no, it's an entirely new, separate game on the, was it Meta Quest or something? I don't bloody know. But yeah, and it's, I don't know, I'm a bit, I mean, I've never played a game on whatever platform that thing is. Was it Meta? I didn't really give it that much attention. I did watch I watched FSG's video on it, and I watched Scroff's video on it. But it doesn't bother me at all. It's not my kettle of fish. That I did actually try virtual reality once on my PlayStation that I've got downstairs ages ago. I went out and I bought myself. I owned it for a day. This is how much it got me. I went out and I bought the PlayStation virtual reality headset because I used to play a game called No Man's Sky, a space exploration game, and you could play that in virtual reality, and the concept of that game in VR was like, wow, okay, I've got to have a go at this. So I went out and I spent a stupid amount of money on this virtual reality kit for the PlayStation, came home, unboxed it, stuck it on my bonce, played it, and within 10 minutes I was almost throwing up because of the motion thing. And then I learnt that essentially there's two types of people. Essentially, you can either deal with virtual reality and the motion thing, or you can't. And I fell into the category of the latter, unfortunately. So literally the same day, I boxed it back up and took it back, and I was like, I'm not spending 350 quid on this because I can't use it. So I got my money back. You played with an Oculus Quest, very clever but limited. Yeah, it don't get me wrong, it is very clever. It's and the experience. When I was playing No Man's Sky in virtual reality, it was amazing. Like, being able to sit in a spaceship and literally look all around you and up and down and this, that and the other. And it changed the game from a pretty decent game anyway, in my personal opinion, to the most immersive experience I've ever had on a video game. But I just couldn't deal with the fact that it just turned me green. I felt so sick and queasy for several hours afterwards that I was like, well, as amazing as the experience is, I can't deal with this. I felt awful. Ginger nut biscuits sort you out for sickness, mate. Ginger nut biscuit. Oh, I'm peckish now. I haven't actually had my tea yet. What time is it? It's 9:15. I've got a gigantic pizza in the fridge that I'm going to cook and scoff after this stream, but I didn't want to fill myself up with food and just sit here like that and be like full of food and live on the internet. So there we go. You bought VR for Elite Dangerous a few years back and they chose to discontinue. Oh, did they? Yeah, I think Elite Dangerous it's of a similar thing to, I mean, very, very similar in the fact that it's a space game. But yeah, sitting in a spaceship and flying it on No Man's Sky with virtual reality was utterly mind-blowing. It really was. So we're down to just less than 20% in the hopper now. I can imagine it'll be amazing for race sims as well. Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine it'll be amazing for a lot of games as well. It really would. And speaking of that, actually, FSG released a video. Was it today or yesterday? With this new fandangled webcam technology where it's like it's head tracking, and that looks amazing. And it's 30 quid. And it's some kind of it's not actual physical hardware, but it's software that you download that can kind of load into your webcam, and it uses your webcam as a head tracker. And its demonstration of it was incredible. For 30 quid, and that was a consideration for me as well. But I'm not sure I'd really make much use out. I think for a player, I think it'd be really cool. But from my perspective as a content creator and actually making the videos. I think it'd be a bit more of a hindrance, because if I move my head all over the place anyway, the camera's going to move about. But Manic Martins Gaming, good evening, FARMERSIM. I've just got off. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. Sorry, we'll try that again. Caps lock. Pizza for the win. Although if you have pineapple on it, we can't be friends. I haven't actually got pineapple. What's wrong with... I'm not going to say what's wrong with pineapple on a pizza. We had this debate over on Discord a while back on... in Scruff's Discord, didn't we? There was a long conversation about pineapple on pizza. And it was hilarious. I like pineapple on pizza. It's tasty. Hey up, Davey. Not first tonight, though, are you, mate? I mentioned you and Fuzz at the very beginning, mate, because Fuzz jumped on and he said, first, baby. And I mentioned you and him. You have this kind of race to get first in the comments of a video. And I appreciate that. I do. It's wonderful. There we go. You've gone again, Martin. FARMERSIM just got off from playing Calmsden, 9 hours on it. Good man. Good man. Don't say it. What, pineapple is good on a pizza? Everything, it's just wrong. Oh, no, it's not. Well, anyway, I haven't got a Hawaiian pizza. I've got, what is it? I think it's just a vegetable pizza, actually, which was a bit boring. But it was cheap. And it's massive. From Sainsbury's. So I got one of them. It's like 12 inches in diameter. Deep pan. So I'm just going to pick the mushrooms off it, because mushrooms are the devil's fungus, and put those immediately in the bin, and put some more cheese on top of it, and put some ham on it from the out the fridge, and job's good. Happy 2-year birthday. Thank you very much, Martin, mate. Appreciate that. Yeah, 2 years. Mark is right, you know. Is he though? Is he? He's not though. Hawaiian pizza was invented in Canada, which means it can't be wrong. You know where I'm coming from. Oh, Hawaiian pizza was invented... Was it invented in Canada? That's amazing. Didn't know that. There you go. Learn something new every day. Right, there we go. Well, that's not... Do you know what? That's not so bad. For one hopper of lime, I'm pretty impressed with that. So, yeah, we'll go fill up once. And then we shall hook up the Bednar seeder, fill up with fert and seed, of course, and we're going to drill this field on our right here with some wheat, I think, and we're going to put barley in the field that we're currently in at the minute, and we need to put some grass down by the cow barn. Now, whether we'll get to all of that or not in this live stream, I don't know, but we shall do our best to get at least one, maybe two of them. Goodness me, that was close. Yes, lime, there we go. The talk about FS Briscoe's map made me think about Bullet Bill's Herefordshire map. But does anybody have any news about... No, I don't have any news about that, I'm afraid, mate. I do remember seeing his photographs that he posted on Facebook back before 25's release. And that looked special. Very special. Excuse me. Yeah, it looked a very special map, and I honestly don't really know whether that will be coming to 25 or not. It'd be a shame, but then, you know, it is what it is. It's entirely down to the creator himself or herself to do what they do with their mods, isn't it? But yeah, it looked... The detail, I've got an image in my mind here at the minute of a railway line that was crossing a road. Oh goodness me, facing the wrong way. And the attention to detail in the modelling of the things that he had on there was gorgeous. And I want to say there was an SO garage, because it was based on a real place, I think. There was an SO garage, I think, that people in the comments who were commenting on it were saying, wow, that's literally like the real place. A Hawaiian burger is a normal burger with pineapple. I could eat that for sure. How's the stream been going so far? It's good, thank you, Davey. It's been really good so far, anyway, I hope. I suppose that's all down to the viewers to decide, isn't it? But so the main thing is there's been no technical issues. I think it's taken me... I think I counted them before, actually. I think this might be my 20th live stream. And obviously it's a learning curve, so technical issues are a thing with live streams, but I think I've managed to finally dial down the all-important video quality. I've managed to get that absolutely sorted, all thanks to spending stupid amounts of money on graphics cards and upgrading my internet to a gigabit internet connection, plus the tweaking of a load of settings. Right, let's turn that on there. Can we go back a moment and touch on that devil's fungus rubbish I said? You can indeed, mate. Yeah. Devil's fungus. Mushrooms. Yeah. Yeah. You can do whatever you want with your mushrooms, mate. I've never, it's the look of them. They're just, my entire life, never liked mushrooms. I used to kick up a fuss when Mum would put mushrooms in food. No. No, no, no. Pineapple, yes. Mushrooms, no. Sling it. There's a whole pile of mushrooms on this pizza that I bought from Sainsbury's just because I just liked the look of the pizza, but knowing that I'd take the mushrooms off and hoy them immediately into the bin. So, yeah. Yeah. I take it you like mushrooms. 20 live streams, you're just a pup still. I know. But again, the experience of doing it, compared to my first live stream, where, quite frankly, I was crapping myself because I'd never done it before, and the concept of being live on the internet talking to people was entirely new to me. And it takes time and experience and many other things to find your feet with it and find your confidence with it, because that's, I can't imagine there's anything worse than watching a live stream of somebody just, you know, on camera. I suppose even if I didn't have a webcam and I wasn't trying my very best to be talkative and chatty and articulate and you know, engaging with you guys in the chat, it'd be pretty rubbish me just sitting there going, not saying anything. It'd be pretty boring, wouldn't it? So finding that confidence and finding your feet with it has been something that you're only going to gain with time. And yes, I've only done 20 live streams over the course of 2 years, but I'm always going to keep on doing them. I just, you know, it's you've got to be in the right mindset as well. And it's always times like this, like the 2-year birthday of the channel that YouTube informed me of. I was like, well, that's a perfect reason, an opportunity to do a live stream to celebrate it with you guys. And it's because the success of the channel has almost got nothing to do with me. It's you guys who've watched and liked and jumped on board and joined the channel and become a subscriber. And do you know what I mean? It's that's what makes a channel successful. I mean, I'm very appreciative that you all seem to like my content. That's been a wonderful thing. Yeah. Good lord. Well, mushrooms are your second favourite thing. Send me all yours. Yeah, I'll put them in an envelope. Yeah. They're not very big ones. They're only little crappy ones, but which I'm grateful for because I just pick them off and yeet them in the bin. The Sim Guy. Hello, mate. Good evening. I'm very well, thank you, buddy. How are you? Good to see you. Appreciate you spending a bit of time with us on your Friday evening. I hope all's well with you. Hope all is well. You have about 270 live streams on your channel. Do you, Dutch? You'll have to forgive me there, mate. I'm not much of a friend, am I? If I haven't, I didn't notice that. What's going on there? What have you got live streams on your channel for? Not what have you got them for. I mean, what are they for? It's a two-way street. Without your efforts in putting out the videos, we would have nothing to watch grow. Well, I suppose, yeah, that does make sense, I guess, yes. But ban that mushroom guy. You're addicted to YouTube. I watch almost everybody here. That's good to know, mate. Woodshock. It's 40-60. If the content was crap, no one would watch, so it's as much you as it is us. Well, that's very kind, Mark. Thank you, mate. No, I suppose you're right. It is. It's yeah. Regardless, from my perspective on this side of the fence, it's a wonderful experience. And I mean, I described it once. I think I described it on. It was one of the the videos I made while I was at Lammer on an actual camera. But my YouTube channel is my baby. I've grown it from the very beginning. I've done everything myself. Strangely, I've had over the last couple of years, I've had multiple messages out the blue, especially on Discord, from people offering to do thumbnails and for me and video editing and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, you know, how much, you know, I don't earn much money from this, and I couldn't afford to pay you for this kind of stuff. What are you expecting me to pay you in beans or mushrooms discarded from pizzas? Yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know. And then it made me think, well, does that mean that my thumbnails are crap and that my video editing is crap and I need to change what I'm doing? So it made me think about my approach to what I do. But the fact is that I'm proud of the fact that and much like a lot of FARMERSIM content creators out there, it's not unique to me, but I believe people like Daggerwin, who's so massive. I think he does have somebody who does his video editing and makes his thumbnails. I think that's what I was told. But I can kind of understand it when you're a channel as massive as his. But yeah, all the thumbnails and stuff and all the editing I've taught myself how to do, and I've learned how to do it, and I'm learning every day, because the thumbnail is one of the most important parts of the video, because it's the first thing people see, to, you know, make you click on your video and watch. So good to hear it, Sim Guy. BDD Gaming, hello mate, how you doing? Good to see you. How's Strix, buddy? This is an amazing map. Enjoying the stream so far. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. That's very kind. Good to see you. Hope all's well. Next to the 280 vids, it's all about scale modelling. Well, there's the clues in the name, innit, Dutch? Funnily enough, one of my mates is getting back into that. He's doing one cars. So he's in the middle. He's bought himself loads of gear. He's bought himself an airbrush with a little compressor. He's bought himself loads of little bits and bobs. He's in the middle of doing a little 180SX Nissan, I think, at the minute. But yeah, I've always loved scale modelling. I used to have it here somewhere. Where's my... It's not very... It's probably not... It's nothing like what you did, but I built myself a little Nissan Skyline here. This is one of, like, the little Airfix ones. I didn't paint it. It's still in the standard white. But... and me and my dad used to do airplanes. I've got, actually... Oh, I think it's in the loft. I've got a Battlestar Galactica that I need to build. My sister gave me a couple of years ago. A Revel kit for a big Battlestar Galactica, one of my favourite TV shows ever. And I've got a big Sea Harrier jump jet as well that I need to build. Love that kind of stuff. Again, that's something I've not done it for ages. I do find it difficult because I'm quite big. I'm very tall, and I've got hands like hams. Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you, BDD. I'm all good. Thank you very much, Patrick. That's very kind. I love your content, mate. Keep it up. That's very kind. R33 Welsh. I'm a big Skyline nut. I wish I owned one. I've got a 33, and the plastic model's the 33. I've got a 34 die-cast model somewhere. I've got the Lego 35 up there. And unfortunately, I don't have a real one. Unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, I love plastic modelling and painting. Me and my dad used to do it years ago. We had it in the playroom we had back at the old house years back. We used to have them hanging up on the ceiling. We had a handful of aeroplanes and old World War II bombers. We had some helicopters. They were tricky to build. A Trans Am from '77, Andreas. Is it a Smokey and the Bandit? Or is it a normal one? I've got a Smokey and the Bandit somewhere. I've got a General Lee over there, die-cast. I've got a Smokey and the Bandit somewhere. That might be in the loft as well, actually. You do love a Skyline, likewise, mate. Yes, I've always been a fiend for a Skyline. I was gutted because in the last few years, the price of them has just gone crazy. And I had the opportunity. It wasn't a GTR, but there was, where I used to work in Middlewich down the road, there was a used car sales place, and it was an import place. and they had a GTS-T for sale, and it sat on the forecourt for what felt like forever at like 3.5 grand. It was completely standard import, but it was 3,499 I think, or something like that, and it was there for months. And I used to drive past it every day, and I'd be like, oh, if only I could afford to get that, because at the time I was quite young. I could afford to buy it, but I wouldn't have been able to afford to insure it. But now, even a GTS-T in reasonable condition is 15-20 grand all day long. GTRs are, well, a well-spec'd, sorted R34 is 6 figures now, easy. And it's like, what? You could buy a 34 for, well, what? I want to say probably about 15-20 grand way back then. And now, you couldn't, I don't think you could, you'd look at like 150 grand, if not more, for some of them. It's absolutely crazy. You have a World of Outlaw sprint car model I made, so it's delicate. I can't touch it, but it does need a bit of love, though. A few bits have fallen off. Yeah, they do over time, don't they? When they sit and do nothing for a while, they do tend to get a bit brittle. Now you've got a Mark 1 Golf. Nice! I used to have a Mark 2 Golf in real life. That was my second car. Do love a Mark 1 Golf, though, mate. Very nice. Oh, it is a Smokey and the Bandit, Andreas. Excellent. Good to hear. That's what we like. One of the best films, Smokey and the Bandit. Same with anything like that now. The price of Cozzies. Yes, they are. Do love a Cozzy. My mate's dad had a full before Sapphire that was mint. Completely standard. Like, completely standard. And it was immaculate. He got rid of it for some reason. But yeah, it was one of the last K-Reg. It was absolutely gorgeous. Right, what am I doing here? I need to think about what I'm doing. I need to unfold this here thing, because we need to load it up. I think I might actually be... Oh no, I'm on the right side. I'm on the right side. I'm going to try and do this bit kind of properly. We're going to load up with some seed. I've got the tool inclination helper mod that was very gratefully introduced to me by Dutch Modelling. It's a wonderful mod. Those of you who haven't seen it, if you look down by the speedometer there, you see the 2 little circles in the bottom left-hand corner of the speedo. This tool inclination mod by Timmy86. It shows you the height you are off the floor, and it also shows you the inclination. So in blue, I'm going, as you can see there, as the angle of your tool changes. If you go up in red, you go down in blue. It's just very, very helpful, and for completely useless, untalented individuals like me, it's very helpful, he says. There we go. It's still difficult to gauge it by eye, though, isn't it? I'm sure we can relate to that. Oh, sugar. So I was trying to read the chat at the same time. Probably a blessing. You would have maybe met a tree at night with it. What, the Skyline? Had I bought a Skyline? Probably. No, I wouldn't have done. I'm no stranger to a fast car or anything, but it was more the money side of things that I regret not being able to buy it. Right, that's used up that pallet. Don't get me wrong, I know it's a complete change to using Universal Auto Load to pick up my bags of fertiliser at the shop, to then jumping in the telehandler to pick my bits and bobs off the shelf, but you've got to do some things correctly, haven't you? It's nice to have Universal Auto Load because it is an amazing mod, but there is something quite nice about attempting to do things properly. Come on. Oh, good lord. There we are. There we are. There we are. Live on the internet. Idiot crashes telehandler. And there's no real necessity to do it with these pallets anyway, because they don't tip into the... they don't empty into the hopper of the seeder. You still have to get out, jump in here, and then refill. That might be enough, actually, to take us to 100%. That it is. Excellent stuff. You had a Sierra Cosworth growing up, Sin? Really? Oh, mate. Was it a jelly mould or a sapphire? Out of interest. I'll, not that it makes a difference, a Cossie's still a Cossie, but, I think, I know that the jelly moulds were the most popular, like the RS500s. They're a special car now. Come get off my pallet forks, please. Really? Right, I'm at 0, so that should... No, you see, that's not me, that. That's sticking. Right. Come on. Come on. Get off. Oh, it nearly came off then. Are you serious? Let's see if I can... Can I grab it off there? Nope. Huh. Okay. Well, there's got to be a way of doing this, isn't there? There we are. Right. Where are you going? You are seeing this, ladies and gentlemen. Telehandler's got a mind of its own. I've never had that. Has anyone else had that before? That was crazy. Realism is key. Yes. Or turn into a cornflake after a couple of years, yeah. Have I got a link to that mod, Patrick? I haven't at the minute. I'm trying to think if I might have popped it into the description of episode 1 of this series. I'm not sure if I have. It might be in the description of one of my Riverbend Springs series. I will... but yeah, I haven't actually got a link to that at the minute. It's the link to the GitHub page. Timmy86, TIMMEY86. Go home, you're drunk. Yeah. Oh, a Nova GTE, Mark. Now then. Now we're talking. Yes. When was the last time you saw a Nova, let alone a GTE? Although I can actually answer that question. There was a proper poverty spec Nova. It was mint. I saw it a couple of weeks ago. It was a saloon, 4-door. Nothing special. Rare but nobody cares. But it was immaculate. Like, properly fresh out of a restoration, perhaps, because it was mint. And it looked amazing. And it was just amazing to see it on the road. Driving down the road, it wasn't at a show or anything. It was literally driving down the road. That was pretty special to see. To be fair, yeah, thanks, Sin. Keep up with... stick up for me. I think that was just a case of I jumped out the cab at the wrong time, didn't I? Right, let's... oh, goodness me. Really? My controls are very... I think the bag has slid down the fork a bit. I need to get that from the side, don't I? All this is in a vain attempt to even remotely do things properly. Your first car was also a red Nova Saloon. There you go. Yeah, it was really nice to see it. You see a car like that nowadays and it actually makes you smile. It did for me anyway. It was just awesome. Right. How full's that? 92%. That's going to do. I'm sure you've all seen enough of my significant lack of talent with a telehandler. It's just one of those things though, isn't it? Because I'm doing it live on the internet, trying to read the chat at the same time. Well, that's the excuse I'm going to use. Trying to read the chat at the same time as concentrate on picking up a pallet. And try and play chase with my telehandler that wants to drive off. Right, so there we go. So I want wheat. Oh, I've just gone past it already. Bump, bump. Bump, wheat, close them, engine on, fold up. Let's get out to the field and drill us some wheat. My brother also built a Nova 1300 sports stage rally car, then crashed it on the 4th stage. Not on the first day, hopefully, surely, Welsh. But yeah, the roads were awash with Novas, weren't they, back in our day? Back in there. Load, balance, safety. Yes. Right. And I think as well, just for the purposes of not making this entire job really, really bumpy, I'm going to follow the lines of the plough, I think. That seems like the right thing to do. I think I might do one headland, or maybe 2 headlands. What should we reckon? Turn on, lower down. Yeah, I think I'm going to do one. I'm going to do. I'll do 2 headlands, I think. And for some insane reason, for the very first time ever, I've decided to go anti-clockwise. I literally always go clockwise. This feels very strange, but why I did that, I don't know. I think it was just because I was planning on running up and down the field in the direction of the ploughed furrows. First car was a Volvo 142 from 90. You can't beat a Volvo, Andreas. Volvos are awesome. My mum's got a Volvo C30. But yeah, I do love an old Ovlov. Great cars. You like what you've done? You like what I've done with the farm, Martin? Good stuff. Appreciate that, mate. Glad you like it. I could have done so much more. I think it's one of those things where, you know, where you just you're never happy with something. I'm never happy with something anyway like that. I look at it now, and then now I know that of some of the mods that we've had come out in the last couple of weeks. It's like, oh, but I could put that there and put that there and change that and move that, and it's just never ending. When you were 14, you went on a school trip to TVR in Blackpool. That's a school trip and a half, that, Mark. TVRs are great cars. My mate's mum had a Griffith, and it sounded like caged thunder. It was a hell of a car. They are a hell of a car. Some of the TVRs. I've always liked the Chimera, actually. Chimera. The TVR Chimera. That was one of the first ones that came out with the. They bought them out with the pearlescent paint, didn't they? Back in the late 90s, early 2000s, something like that. But yeah, they're ridiculous cars, quite frankly. Volvo with a 1.5 litre engine. Those things outlive cockroaches. They do. I would be happy just to be creative enough to do what you've... Well, that's very kind, Davey. Thank you, mate. Again, I know I'm repeating myself here, but it's an aspect of this game that I will never tire of. Just being able to get your creative on. In fact, let me just have a look at see what the... Yeah, there you go. You see that the lime texture's taking a few seconds to disappear. And it is worse. It kind of was worse in cab. There you go. Yeah, you can still see the lime texture there to the... Kind of to the right a bit. I'm going well off course here. Were they still building horse-drawn carriages then, Mark? Argsy with the friendly dig there. Dear me. Unreliable, though. Well, yes, very unreliable, in fact. They were a bit held together with glue and hope and dreams, I think. Most of them. But they sounded good. And the, what was the... Oh, I've forgotten the name of it now. The big one. Oh, for goodness sake. I can't remember the name. My mind's gone blank. You had the Chimera, the Griffith, the T350. What was the one that Clarkson did on his video back again, early 2000s, that was really fast? It was the 4.2 litre. The big long one. I can't remember the name of it now. For love nor money. You make me giggle, Args. You make me giggle. Excuse me. Do need to have a drink of something here, I think. Ah, So yeah, I think based on the time that we're on the video, I'm hoping we'll get finished with this field, but I'm not too sure. No, not the... Hey up, Jay. Not the Tuscan, no. It was the... Yeah, but that was another one I forgot of. Yeah, there was the Tuscan. No, it's the big long one. God damn it, what was it called? I hate not being able to remember a name or something. Max... thingy from... it was a Max Power cover car for a few years. Ed Bolian bought it on VinWiki on the YouTube not long ago. What was it called? Oh, it was dubbed like the Blackpool Rocket because it was on Clarkson's video that he did. It was faster than a Porsche 911 on the drag strip. What was it called? No, not Trident. Come on. Petrol heads let me down. I'm letting myself down because I can't remember. Cerberus. Thank you, Orb. The Cerberus. Yes, that one. Good man. Yes. And then they made the Speed 12 out of the Cerberus, which was the most ridiculous thing. That's the word I couldn't think of, Cerberus. Yeah. We got it now, haven't we? There we are. Yeah, that was a mighty car, that was. And those of you who are of a particular age and of a particular interest back in the day, I was well into Max Power back in those days. Jamie Shaw built a... he did a full Max Power spec TVR Cerberus, and... it was like a proper cover car. It was full of stereo and speakers and all that kind of nonsense. And, I mean, it was amazing. And then it just obviously, like a lot of Max Power cars, they just kind of disappeared. And it was picked up. It was bought by another YouTuber. And it was brought over to the United States. And it was absolutely mangled. It was falling to pieces. All the custom interior and speaker pods and... all the screens and all that didn't work, and all the stereo, but it was just amazing to see it because it was a one of one custom car. It was mental. The Tasman, there's another one. Yeah, I haven't remembered that one actually for a while. But anyway, TVRs, yeah, great cars for about 20 minutes until bits started falling off. That thing was a guided missile. That's a good way of describing it, Welsh. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, a guided missile. It's but I haven't seen one of them for years, which is no surprise really, because they're probably all falling apart, or they've fallen apart and they've been scrapped or crashed or anything like that. I do remember actually, I have a vague memory of because Alton Park, the racetrack's only up the road. I'm going to need to do 2 headlands to give myself the turnaround room here, aren't I? Guy he'd just bought a Cerberus and took it to Alton Park for a track day, literally the day after buying it, and wrote it off, and it wasn't insured because it was on a track, and we remember we were there. I've got photos of it on an old mobile phone somewhere being dragged up onto the back of the trailer, the recovery truck, in the paddock of Alton Park, and we were all just, obviously at the time, we were all young and just like stood around going, oh my god. This TVR Cerberus was minced. Like, there was no going back. It was completely written off. But he hadn't taken out track day insurance. He just bought the car, gone, oh yeah, TVR, I know what I'm doing, let's go for a track. Yeah, binned it on like the second corner. It was like, oh my god. I might be old, but at least I have memories of great cars. You were excited to see a Skoda in FS. I hope you're not referring to older Skodas as great cars though, Mark. New ones are great. The new Skodas, very cool cars, because they're basically the Volkswagen Audi group, aren't they? So they're the same underpinnings as various Audis and Volkswagens. Not the older ones. Hello Massey, how you doing, mate? Good evening, hope you're well. Cheers for joining us, mate. Cheers, Sin. Appreciate you stopping by the stream, mate. Thank you very much for spending some time with us, mate. Take care, buddy. Catch you soon. Yeah, I've got memories of old cars as well, though. Old cars are well better, in my opinion. If they can be fixed with hammers and swear words, then they're better. As long as you don't need a degree in nuclear physics and an expensive laptop to fix a car. That's all that matters. You own a Passat? Do you? What year? When I used to work for Volvo Trucks, we had a V-Reg Passat, so that was a 99. That had 200 and... I want to say about 270,000 miles. It was the pool car that we used, because we used to deliver new trucks around the country. Like fleets of Volvo trucks. So say like B&Q would buy a fleet of 20 new FH12s, and we'd deliver them down to some place in Swindon. So we used this Volkswagen Passat to run around the country picking drivers up and stuff. Cheers, Rian. Thank you very much for spending time with us, mate. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Yeah, and it was maintained meticulously. It was serviced whenever it needed service, and it needed, you know, it had the parts it needed when it needed them. And it was mega. It went on forever. Hammers and swears count you in. Cheers, Rian. Nice one, mate. Yeah. I've never got a bad word to say about an old Volkswagen like that. 2016 2-litre diesel, 100. Oh, so you got the 190 horsepower. Nice one. Yeah, they'll go on forever. Them things will, mate. Basic maintenance. Good cars. I've got a Mark V Golf downstairs outside. That's my dog car that I put the dog in. And it's nothing special. It's an SDI, so it's just a 2-litre diesel, 2-litre non-turbo diesel. So it's, you know, watching paint dry is faster, but it does 70 to the gallon. It's essentially an old tractor engine. There's no technology in it. And it's brilliant. It really is brilliant. It's my that's my low and slow car, and I've got the Honda for weekends to go out and have a bit of a razz in. Drives like a Golf GTI. Excellent. Yeah, you can't beat a good old dub. Right, now I've done my second headland roughly. I will catch that strip on the way back down, but I just wanted to do this field running in the direction of the ploughed furrows. And I'm going to do it all freehand. I'm not using any steering assist or anything like that. I'm going to do my very best to do this all by myself. There we go. But it's quite a big field, this, isn't it? I've got a funny feeling we might not get all this done in before the end of the stream. We're at 2 hours now, and I haven't had my tea yet. And I'm surprised you guys can't hear my belly rumbling through the microphone. But hey, there we go. There we go. 74 likes. Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate you all hitting that like button. Everything still seems to be running well. Yeah, I think I've definitely got my technical side of things dialed in there. Over the years, you've had a Golf GTI, 2 Polos, and 3 Passats. Oh, so you're very much a Volkswagen family. You got VW Up. I love an Up, especially a GTI. Yeah. Yeah, I must admit. Now I think about it, we've had a few dubs in the family. My mum had an E-Reg Polo, you know, the old like van-shaped Polo. E285 KFS, I can even remember the number plate. She had a Polo, then she had an N-Reg Passat Estate. Is it an estate, Mark? It's got to be an estate. You've got to have an estate. Your Passat. Yeah, and then Gran had a Polo Fox for a few years, a little 1-litre thing. I had a Mark II Golf. My second car was a Mark II Golf. My brother had a Transporter, a T3, I think. We've got a camper van that's being a classic 72 bus. As a mechanic, you're not a huge fan of working on them. I can kind of understand that. They're kind of well made. I mean, I'm not a mechanic. I'm a home mechanic. If my car breaks, I'll fix it. If I can, of course. I find them harder to work on than the Honda. I must admit, the Honda's really easy to fix and mend. It is an estate, good man. Yeah, it's got to be an estate. Definitely. They did an R32 version of your model of Passat, didn't they, Mark? And that's a special thing. Yeah, an Up GTI. Have you not seen an Up GTI, Dutch? They're mega little things. Proper little pocket rockets. I mean, mate, Adam, who lived next door for a while, he had a Lupo GTI. That was a awesome little car. Little 6-speed. Proper little pocket rocket. Really nice little car. Solid as a rock. Until he crashed it. Properly binned it. He did. But yeah, that was nice while it lasted. Now we're looking on levels. So 74% FERT, 73% seed. Not so bad. A W32. Sorry, forgive me. That's right. Yeah. Go man. Hi FARMERSIM, or AKAR, as I've watched vids for years about BF5, and I'm quite sure you are when... Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Glad you like the videos. Greetings from Austria. Well, hello, Austria, mate. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. Hope you're okay. 72, good year. You've got a 1303 Cabby Beetle. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'm not new to the car world by any sense of the word, Butch, but I'm new to classic Volkswagens. We're still very much... Well, it's not here at the minute. It's in the paint shop still. But yeah, I'm still learning lots of stuff about them. We're in the middle of having ours completely restored at the minute, so it's currently in the paint shop as a bare shell being painted. Its engine is in a completely different postcode, and then it's going to be having all its mechanicals done, brakes and suspension and all that kind of stuff. The engine's going to be gone through, and then it's going to be time for me and my mate who's a joiner to redo all to turn it back into a camper van. So we're going to do the whole kitchen inside and the rock and roll bed and all that kind of stuff to turn it into a bit of a camper van so that we can all use it for time to time. That's the idea. In total in my life you've had around 30 different cars, Andreas. My word. Just don't use it as your main... Well, I'm not going to use it as my main car, but I am going to use it more often than not, because cars, especially old cars, they don't like being sat still. And unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of a garage to keep it in. So when we do get it back, it's still going to be kept outside. Now, it's had all the chassis protected and all the rust protection underneath and all the Lano Guard, or whatever you call it, applied to the chassis. And the paint job that it's getting is considerably better than what they came with. All the rust will be removed and all that kind of stuff, so it's going to be a much stronger base to live outside kind of thing. But yeah, I am gonna use it a lot more than, you know, just letting it sit there and do nothing, unless you like walking. Well, fortunately, the guy who's rebuilding it, he owns a garage and a mechanic's garage and an MOT station, and that's what he does by trade. But on the side, this is his side passion. He's a air-cooled Volkswagen enthusiast, and a restorer. So he kind of knows, you know, he knows what to do. He knows all the little, you know, the helpful tips and stuff that you need to focus on the engine and do the bits and bobs that need to be done to make it more reliable. Yes, it's a 50-year-old tin bus. It's air-cooled. It's only going to be as good as all that, but it's going to be reliable enough to be able to use it. Because if you use it more, letting it sit on a driveway for 6 months in between uses as a camper van, it will do it no good at all. It will need to be driven at least once a week. Definitely at least once a week, just to keep everything supple, keep the bushes supple, keep the oil flowing, keep the engine heat cycling and all that kind of stuff, to maintain it. It's just good vehicle sympathy to do that. Leaving a car, any car, sat outside for ages, your battery will go flat, your bushes will go hard and crack easier and all that kind of stuff. What's my dream car, Ginger Farmer? Good lord, there's a conversation. I probably have many, to be honest, mate. I've been a car enthusiast for many years. I think almost since I was conceived. I been into cars. As my dream car, I honestly, I don't know. That's a tough question. It would be either something, probably. I'd have to have, if I won the lottery, because I know as a car enthusiast, I've had many of these thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of us have as well. If I won the lottery tomorrow, and I suddenly had the capacity to buy a really nice collection of cars, I wouldn't have Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all the Bentleys and modern stuff that people have nowadays, because I have no interest in them at all. I'd have, if I could afford an F40, I'd have a Ferrari F40, but they're millions of pounds. I'd have a 68 Dodge Charger RT 440, general Lee spec, and an R34 GTR Skyline. Definitely those two. And then it'd be a tough one. I don't know. Yeah, just because there's so many. I'd love a GMC Vandura in A-Team spec. Just because. Piping Paul, thank you to whoever gifted me a membership. That was Chimera Paul. She was very generous and gifted 10 channel memberships earlier on in the stream. Thank you very much, mate, if you're still around. Yep. That was Chimera Paul. Hope all's good, mate. Appreciate you joining us on the stream. There we go. Doing a half decent job of doing things freehand here, aren't I? Roughly. If I was to try and completely straight line it now, I'd still end up with a bit of a strip on my right by the time I got to the end of the field. So I'm going to have to just try and maintain this line here. You have two dream cars, a Pontiac Trans Am from 77 and a Ford Mustang from 65. Nice. Yeah. I take it you're talking about, like you mentioned before, the T-Bird, the T-Top Trans Am. Is that the one with the 7.7 litre? The Smokey and the Bandit spec one? The Trans Am. And I do like a Mustang. I do like an old Ford Mustang, but I can't tell which one's which. The only one that I can remember and quote off the top of my head is the Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds, and I've just crashed into the wall. Charger is a solid choice. 71 CUDA with a 426 Hemi. Yeah. KITT. Yes, Mark. Yes. Do you know what? This is how the level of geekery that I am. The Golf that I've just talked about, the Golf that I've got, I was given that for free in at the beginning of lockdown, when we all got locked down, of course. And it is I've got a Night Rider light under the grille because reasons. Yeah, it's a black car. You know, it's all kind of partly blacked out. But yeah, I've got a D-badge grille, and I've got a Smokey and the Bandit light. A KITT light on a remote control, because I'm an absolute nerd, and it was just something to do during lockdown. So yeah, there you go. So I got the proper geek. Grain Man, hello mate. How's Trix? Thank you very much, mate. I'm very grateful. That's very kind. How's Trix, mate? Good to see you. Happy birthday, buddy. Yes, yeah. 2 years. 2 years making content, mate. It's time flies when you're having fun, though, doesn't it? As a content creator, I'm sure you'll understand. Hello, Realistic. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. I'm very well. Thank you very much for asking. I'm very hungry. I haven't had any tea yet. I can hear my stomach rumbling through these headphones. What make of car was KITT? KITT was a Pontiac Trans... No, it wasn't. Was it a... It was a Pontiac, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. I'm sure. Mustang hatchback. If you had the money, Eleanor. Yes. There was something about that Eleanor thing, though, a while ago that was going around the internet. Apparently, some family or some person owned the rights to the actual Eleanor thing, and they caused a ruckus and tried to get money out of as something like that. Or they tried to stop people from being officially allowed to make recreations of the Gone in 60 Seconds Eleanor or something. I don't fully understand the nature of it, but yeah, there was something I remember reading all about all that. But yeah, KITT, yeah, same guy. I think KITT was a Pontiac of some description. I think Pontiac TransAm 2000. There we go. I think Andreas has got the answer. He seems to know his American cars, don't you, mate? By the sounds of things. 82 Pontiac Firebird Transam. Thanks, Chimera. There she is. I've got one of them as well. A die-cast model somewhere upstairs. 1/18th scale one. Again, because I'm a child. Happy 2 years to you and me on the YouTube channels. Absolutely. Are you at 2 years as well, mate? Realistic? Are we roughly about the same age? That's pretty cool. Did we roughly start about the same time? It's good fun, isn't it? This whole YouTube thing. And Peter Gillen, hello mate. Good evening, mate. How's STRIX, mate? Good to see you. Right, let's turn around here. I'm doing my very best to keep these lines straight. Doing them freehand. What are we down to? We're down to 64% on the FERT, 56 on the wheat. Great to catch you, bud. Enjoy the rest of the stream, and congrats again on 2 years. 2 years of torture. Well, yeah, you're way more experienced than I am, Arg, so hopefully it won't turn out to be too torturous. But yeah, thank you very much, Arg. It's great to have you on board, mate. Cheers for joining us. Good to see you. Take care, buddy. 2 years of torture. Yeah, there has been difficult times, I must admit. It's mainly technological difficulties, like when I spend ages recording a clip. Or I say ages, you know, I'll do something, because sometimes in the game it's not hard. It's difficult to undo some of the stuff you've done. So if I've recorded a clip and spent 7 or 8 minutes recording it and talking, and then I look down to realise that my bloody microphone isn't on or hasn't worked, and I'm like, ah! And I've done a voiceover thing once, back on the Vintage Oaks, actually. But it was very difficult. It felt very unnatural talking over a video clip that I'd already made, trying to remember what I was saying at the time of recording it, if that makes any sense. It was very difficult. Would love to drive another Dodge. Have you driven a Viper, have you, Kim? A Viper SRT, yeah. They're beasts of cars. 8-point Summit litre V10. Yeah, I think Dodge were on something then when they made that thing. It's a gorgeous car. Are we talking about a Series 1, a Phase 1, a Mark 1 version of the Viper, or are we talking about the newer, slightly bigger one? I say newer. They redid it, didn't they? But there's something special about a Phase 1 Viper. The very first one. They were gorgeous cars. They really were. Are still. Yeah, you started late January and have finally got over the 1,000 subs now. Good man, mate. It's a lovely feeling, isn't it? When you get the channel over a particular milestone. It's wonderful. It really is. Good on you, mate. Keep it going. Keep it going. It's the FARMERSIM community is a wonderful one. It really is. Everyone is so cool. For 5 mins, yeah, at a car show once. To quote Captain Slow, it gave me the fizz. Nice, nice. So you drove one. I don't even think I'd fit in one, to be honest. Although I suppose I might do. I think Hulk Hogan had one, so I suppose if he fits in one, I might stand a chance. I think I'm roughly about the same height. Late to the dream car chat. I'd defo be thinking about a modern spec Mark II Escort tarmac rally car with a 2.5 Millington you see, down to the particulars, a Millington engine. You know your engines, Welsh. Yes, a Millington would be, I mean, they sound good. Really, really good. Screaming on throttle bodies. Yes, yes, and more yes. Definitely. You don't even have a channel and you have 1 subscriber. Go figure. There you go. Somebody loves you. I'm just about to hit 1 year in. Close to 50 subs now. I'm quite a niche, so it won't be massive. This is your sim racing, is it, Orb? Speaking of dream cars, for me, the dream car that might be achievable is a Land Rover Defender 9. What? Whoa, 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 whoa. A 6.9 litre engine in a Defender 90. I know you've just deleted that message. Did you type 6.9 wrong? I take it that's some crazy ass engine conversion. 6 litre engine in a Land Rover Defender 90 would rip itself in half. I do love a Defender though. There's a guy who's got a nice one who lives about half a mile that way, and it's the really nice original green, but it's got some big beefy wheels on it, and it's jacked up a bit, and it's really cool. But it's a proper used, excuse me, farm spec Defender. It's awesome. Yeah. And actually, funnily enough, I saw a Series 1 Landy a couple of days ago, again in the original like dark green colour, and it was mint, really, really mint. Just oval racing, so my audience is mostly American. Regardless, though, mate, if you've got yourself a passion for any particular game, if your passion is that game and that game has a community, you'll find your feet with it. That's what I found with this. And you know, Farm Sim is pretty big in the video game world, kind of, but it's not like Call of Duty Black Ops big, is it? But it's not about that. It's, for me, it's about the interaction with the community. It's about the passion for the game. If you haven't got a passion for if you haven't got the passion for whatever it is you're making content with, you might struggle a bit, I think. Whereas if you've got the passion for it and you want to do it and you enjoy doing it every time, that'll show in your videos. And that's, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet here, but that's something that's been said to me, especially in the comments of the last episode of Calmsden, for example. But I have heard it quite a few times that people seem to recognise that I have a passion for the game, and it shows in my content, and that makes me feel amazing. It makes me love doing it and makes me want to do it more, because I have got a passion for this game. I love it. It is my favourite game. I've played a lot of games over the past. I know I've had this conversation before, but I don't play any other game now apart from this, and I don't even play this now. I just sit here and make videos for all you guys, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. You can't not love a Rover, absolutely. Although I can not love I had a P38 Rangy for a while, 4 litre V8 Range Rover, and it was great for about 10 minutes until the air suspension cacked out on me. I had to literally, within the month of buying it, the month of owning it, I had to replace all the air suspension, all 4 airbags, the compressor, which wouldn't shut up. It just constantly, as long as I was driving along, just constantly trying to keep the air suspension level. It was one of the most comfortable places to be. It had DVD players, it had TV screens, it was a Range Rover, so you had just the big automatic gearbox, just point and squirt driving, leather seats, all that stuff, heated, all the gubbins. But it was a big old Rover V8, so it leaked oil for a living, and it just, yeah, it was I ended up getting rid of it. I owned it for about 6 months, and then got shut of it because it was proving to be a money pit. But I've always wanted one, and if I could afford one tomorrow, I'd get an L322 Rangy, because I love a Range Rover. I just love the big. Because you do get as well, there is a, it doesn't matter what, because I normally just drive normal cars, you know. I've got a Honda Civic, I've got my Golf. I don't normally drive big cars like that, but as soon as you get in a Range Rover, something comes over you and you just go, get out of my way, you know, because you're sat high up and you've got there's just this natural pomp that comes from being behind the wheel of a Rangy, and it's like, Get out of my way, peasants. And this was an old, you know, crap box of a Ranger. It wasn't a new one. It was a £4 grand, 120,000 mile P38. But it just, yeah, it just happens. And it's like, I felt myself, I was like, oh, don't, you know, never had that. It was crazy. Started to take a liking to the new version of the, ooh, are you realistic? In all black spec with an urban kit, with the boxes on the side, on the back quarter panels. I was one of these people that hated the new design, but you're starting to like them. Yeah, there's a few round here in Cheshire, in varying specs. You've got there's a few of the base spec ones that have got the steel wheels, and they've got the plastic bumpers and that really nice green paint. It's like a light kind of pea green colour paint. It looked really cool. And there are a few like proper like super urban spec ones, so they're like all blacked out, big. Like big alloys and low profile tyres, and not like off-road tyres or anything like that. And they look cool, they sound cool, they do. But if I had the money to buy one of them, I think personally, if I had the money to afford one of them, I'd have a Range Rover all day long. One of the family members had a Jaguar F-Type 5-litre V8 super turbocharged. It was a beauty with the exhaust. Yeah, you can't beat a Jag, as Mr. Clarkson would say. Footballers, no doubt. Well, thankfully, I'm not... Well, David Beckham used to live a couple of miles up the road in Whitegate, actually, funnily enough, many years ago. Posh and Becks. But, yeah, we don't have any footballers around here, thankfully. But there are a lot of... there's a couple of private schools down the road, so all the kids... There's like 900 bloody Range Rovers and Land Rovers and Porsche Cayennes and Bentley thingies, what they're called. What's the Bentley SUV called? Bentayga. Loads of them, and a few Lamborghini Uruses as well that look strange. Diesel burners, but you can't beat them, absolutely. Hello, the next. How you doing, mate? Good to see you. Cheers for joining us on your Friday evening. I hope all's well. Hope all is well. Actually starting to... I thought I was starting to make a reasonable dent in this field, but no, there's still a considerable amount of land to cover. But yeah, something tells me we're not going to get this one finished in this episode at the minute, ladies and gentlemen. We're at 2 hours and 20 at the minute, but yeah, there's definitely another... What do you reckon there? There's at least 30-40 minutes worth of drilling there to go. And yeah... We might not get there, but I think we'll see how we get with what we've got in the tank so far. 52% fert, 36% wheat. But yeah. You won't be too far out from where FSG... No, and yes, that's right. No, I'm I know it's something I've said before, but geographically, me and FSG have actually swapped places. He used to live very close to where I am here. I believe his mother and father still do, a couple of miles away down the road there. And I was born in Edinburgh, where he lives now. Which is pretty crazy. So, yeah, it's... geographically, we kind of... he lives where I used to live, and I live where he used to live. Thomas Matthews, hello, mate. Hope you're well. Good to see you. Cheers for joining us on your Friday evening. Hope all's well. Although, of course, there's another mod I'm sure that some of you have noticed that's back on the mod hub, the Real Dirt colour by Viper GTS 96. As you can see, the tractor's covered in lime. Another cracking mod that's come back from 22 there. Ginger Farmer, I'm headed out. Thank you for making the afternoon at work enjoyable. Mate, thank you very much for joining us, Ginger. Very good, very glad to have seen you, mate. Good to have you call by for a bit. Ooh, Woodshock CLK63 Black Edition. Yes, that's a weapon of a car. Proper. Do you know what? There's a particular era of AMGs. I suppose there's an answer to the question that was asked to me before about dream cars and stuff. Maybe not necessarily a dream car, but if I won the lottery tomorrow and I had the capacity to fill a garage with cars that I've always wanted, it would be an old AMG from the 80s and 90s AMG Merc. or a Brabus, one of them two. But again, there's quite a few AMGs around here as well. We've seen them quite a lot. But me and my brother went to the Formula 1 a few years ago at Silverstone, and it was the first season of the new turbo cars. So technically they weren't as loud as the V10s and the V12s of previous iterations, but the pace cars and the safety cars were all AMG Mercs. There was a couple of SLSs, but the safety cars and the pace cars were the Merc E-Class estates, but the super duper AMG ones. And they, round the track, they were louder than the F1 cars, because they're like caged thunder. They may have had an exhaust on, I don't know. They may not have been completely factory standard, but I'm assuming they probably would be, because they'd be sponsored by AMG or Mercedes, and they would probably have been given from the factory to Silverstone to use. But the noise they made was incredible when they went thundering down the straight. It was like, it's just amazing. It was like, wow. You never knew I was from Scotland. I am based in the northeast of Scotland. Yes, I was born and raised in... I know you wouldn't tell. I lost my Scottish accent many years ago. I was born and raised in Courseplay in Edinburgh, which is literally a stone's throw from Edinburgh Zoo. And I lived there till I was 7 or 8, I think. And we moved from Scotland to northeast England, to a place called Tynemouth in the northeast of England, and then down here to Cheshire. It was Dad's job that took us around. Yeah, but I'm. If somebody says where am I from, I say Scotland. I'm Scottish by birth, and proud of that, quite frankly. But I lost my Scottish accent. I used to have a proper, I used to be proper Scottish, and you know, it's one of them. Love Edinburgh. It's amazing. It is a gorgeous city. I've not been back there for quite a few years. I would love to go back to my my hometown of Edinburgh. It is a beautiful historic city. It really is. Edinburgh Zoo is an amazing. It is. Well, we used to be able to, when I stayed at my grand's house, because she lived down the road from us there as well. I remember this one night. I stayed over at grand's house, and it was summer. The windows were open. You could hear the lions roaring in the night. It was that close, and it was, well, at the time I crapped myself because I was like, whoa, but that's how close we were. It was amazing. An Aston 177, yeah. Edinburgh Zoo is about 3 minutes walk away from you, Oz. So you're in Courseplay then, I take it. I used to live on Ball Green Avenue, just down the road from Carricknow Golf Course. There you go. I miss Edinburgh, I really do. What do I think of Calmsden? I can't get on with it in FARMERSIM 25, says Thomas. Honestly, mate, I love it. I played a lot of it in 22. I spent a lot of time on it in 22 before my time as a content creator. I did do a very brief mini-series towards the end of the life cycle of 22, called the Calmsden Chronicles. That's where I got this name from. But I love it because of the I mean, every map is different to everyone, to each individual player. I seem to have learnt from FARMERSIM. It's, some people like certain maps, some people don't. Like you say, you can't get on with Calmsden. Some people do it, and but that's the great thing about it. There's always, there's something for everybody. I just find it a lovely map because it feels realistic. It's got immersion. There's something about it that is immersive, and it makes me as a player want to play it. And that's what you get. I think that's what some of the main things initially that you get from a map. If you see a map, you see an image, you see a screenshot, or you see somebody else playing it, and you go, oh, I want to play that. That's what drives you to a map. What drives me to a map. Sometimes you might see a map and go, nah, doesn't really do anything for me. It's not to say there's anything wrong with a map, it's just it doesn't float your particular boat at that particular time. Ravelston, my mum went to Mary Erskine's, I went to Daniel Stewart's down the road. Bloody hell, there you go. Small world, eh, Oz? Yeah, Daniel Stewart's in Melville College. Is it still there? I think it is. It was a very old, big old school, like bloody Hogwarts that place was. But yeah, my mum went to Merio's. We've still got, funnily enough, we found some a wee while back in some boxes. Some of mum's old exercise books from Mary Erskine. Some of my family used to live on Ravelston Dykes. No way. That's that's crazy, Oz. That's cool. Yeah. And one of my best friends lives in a place called Barnton, which I'm sure you'll know. Which confused me a while, because there's a place called Barnton here that's like 5 minutes drive from me here. But Barnton in Edinburgh is quite an exclusive place. The family who owned Drambuie used to live down the road from my mate there in Barnton. We used to ride past his house. He has these massive ornate metal wrought iron gates with DB. I think it said DB on it. But yeah, it was the family who owned Drambuie, the drink. There you go. What about thoughts on motorcycles? I've had several sports bikes through my life, but would kill for a Triumph Scrambler 900 and Arch KG. Are you a motorcyclist, Kay? I didn't know that. There you go. I've never been able to really properly ride bikes. I've never had I've been a mountain biker, but motorbikes I've never been able to properly. I love them and I appreciate them from a performance side of things because they're fast, and I know, and one of my best mates used to put bike engines into race cars. If any of you've heard of Radical Motorsport, he used to work at Radical putting Hayabusa engines in Radical cars. Yeah, I've never been a motorbiker, but I fully respect and appreciate what a bike is, because they're crazy, some of them. My next door neighbour here, actually, his son-in-law is a proper enthusiast, and he restores bikes. He's a pilot. Both him and his wife are pilots, so they're quite well off. And he has a collection of motorbikes. He's got a Triumph Bonneville, I want to say. I think, is that right? A Bonneville? Triumph Bonneville? Something like that. He's got a handful of bikes, and they're all quite old, and they're like, you could eat your dinner off any part of them. They're beautiful. And he's got quite a lot of them. Cheers, Sim Guy. Good to see you, mate. You're heading out. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Cheers for your time, man. You love going to Edinburgh and go to the Harley Davidson dealers since again, it's been a few years since I've been, mate, but I didn't. Is that on Princess Street, on the main shopping street through Edinburgh? Is there a Harley dealership? All I think of there is Wimpy, the burger place. That was where I had my first ever like fast food burger thing from Wimpy. They used to have big birthday parties there. Wow, memories, man. HD Street Glide 103 CBI, is that? I'm assuming that's some form of motorcycle, Farmer Mondo. Harley Davidson. Your neighbour and I would get on swimmingly. Oh, I think you would, mate. Yeah, to be fair. He's, if you're into your bikes, definitely. He's an absolute fiend for them. But they are beautiful. And some of them are, like, proper noisy. You can hear him coming a mile away. I'm trying to remember the name of some of them. Triumph Bonneville, I think, is definitely one of them. He's mainly into the older classics. I've seen him on a couple of modern things, but mainly he's into the older stuff. But he'll buy them and he'll restore them. You know, he'll take them completely apart, have the engine gone through. He'll have all the petrol, the fuel tank and stuff painted, and he'll have the frame powder coated and zinc coated and all that kind of stuff and protected. Engine rebuilt, new exhaust, all the bits and bobs. The wire wheels on some of the bikes that he's got are, you know, they're a difficult thing to work on and clean up, but they are mint. And it's just really nice to see something that's as old as that in such good condition and so well looked after and restored and given a whole new lease of life. It's so cool. You're just over the bridge, one of the many bridges that go over the Forth. The Forth, I used to love going over the Forth Road Bridge when I was little. That was cool. 103 cubic inch. Sorry, Farmer Mondo. I should have known that. Absolutely. Right, where are we? There we go. Drop that Dan. I'm going to have a guess and say it sounds like... Street Glide sounds like a cruiser to me. Am I right with that, Farmer Mondo? You used to ride a Harley-Davidson Softail Crossbone. I do love the noise of a Harley. Harleys sound awesome. Proper thunderous noise to them. Got to appreciate that. I'm going to turn that off. I don't need that on. It's been on forever. Yeah, I'm going to say we're roughly about halfway through this field. And I think we might have to call it a day at halfway through this field. For sure. Because there's definitely, we're probably a little bit less than halfway, aren't we, actually, there? Thinking about it. Yeah, I've never been, for me, my first experience of a motorbike was my brother bought a twist and rip little scooter ped thing when he was like 16, 17. And I've never been able to get the whole accelerator, and then there's your brake as well. That's the bit I couldn't get. And he bought this new, it was a Suzuki SXR 50, I think it was, little twist and rip thing. And like this, I think like 2 days after he got it, I was like, oh, can I have a go? And I sat on it on the pavement outside our house, and I kind of, you know, pulled back on the accelerator and ended up, and it went forward, and I couldn't get the brake because my hand was twisted back on the accelerator, and ended up hitting a wall and putting a big scratch and scuff down his fairing. And I was like, oh shit, sorry mate. It was like within the first week of him owning it, and he, needless to say, he wasn't my friend for a few days. Yeah, Harleys are gorgeous, love them. You've mostly had CBRs. Crashed one, sold the others. Oh, I know. Well, funnily enough, down at the workshop where I go with where my mates are where they've got all their cars, because we're all into Hondas but cars. There's a motorbike service centre that's literally like directly opposite us. So we all day long when we're down there, we're surrounded by various motorbikes. And there's always a CBR of some description down there. There's a handful of people who've got a few VFR 400 as well, older ones like D-Reg 80s VFRs. There was a nice Hayabusa down there actually today. Really nice, because apparently the new ones are like 1.4, 1400cc or 1440cc, I think, which is a massive size for a bike like that. Yeah, I'm like you. I'm more into mountain bikes than motor. I used to be. I've still got a Garage Queen downstairs, a mountain bike, realistic. It's a downhill, a GTR drive downhill thing, with a set of Marzocchi Bomber Monster T's on from way back when, from back in the 90s, early 2000s, when downhill racing started to kick off in the days of Rob Warner and Steve Peat, if they're names that ring any bells. But yeah, I haven't ridden a mountain bike for years, properly anyway. Again, my level of fitness is woefully low, probably. Hey up, Share, you used to have a 50cc OLED. Nice. Is that like one of the ones my brother, like a scooter, 50cc twist and rip, or is it a proper bike, 50cc? Yeah. I don't know very much about bikes, but I know a little bit. I know I can point out a few models and all that kind of stuff. I know I've got a friend who's got an R1, a Yamaha R1, crazy thing. Friend to me, he has a Suzuki 1100. Is that a Bandit? Am I right? Well, I'll tell you what I do like though, a Ducati. You can't. There's something really nice about a Ducati, a 996 Desmo. They make a noise, proper rumble to them. Really nice motorbikes. Them. Again, wouldn't have a clue how to ride one, but it's just nice to see them and hear them. Yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah, like I say, I've never been any good at even trying to ride a motorbike. Twist and go. Yeah, there you go. Twist and rip. Yeah. My brother put an exhaust on his, and it just sounded like a herd of wasps. It was one of those really annoying sounds after a while that it just sounded like a pack of wasps. Just and it was, but what was funny was you could obviously hear him before you saw him, but when you did see him, the sound that it was making wasn't relevant to the speed that he was going, because it sounded like it was going really fast, but it was just like, and you'd just see him for ages going past because he was doing 4 miles an hour. It was just proper funny. How can you not love Ducati? Absolutely, mate. Oh, I can't remember, but he say he would like to add a turn. Do you know what, Andreas? Well, that's another memory, actually. Is anyone familiar with... it was like an internet thing a while back called Ghost Rider. Not the film, and not the Marvel character whose head's on fire and it's a skull. Not that thing. But Ghost Rider, it's I want to say it was... I think he was European, maybe German-ish, something like that. And some of the videos he made were... I mean, don't get me wrong, it was relentlessly dangerous, but the videos that he put out of him being filmed, he had a Suzuki Hayabusa with the fairing taken off, with a turbo. It was 500 horsepower on a bike through one wheel, which is borderline ridiculous. But he was a very accomplished rider. But he would there'd be videos of him like flying down a busy motorway, on his back wheel at 140 mile an hour, weaving through traffic. And ludicrously dangerous and risky and all that kind of stuff. But from a viewer, it was incredible to watch. But it was very, he'd be flying in between cars, and the camera would be kind of mounted on his petrol tank, so you'd see his digital speedometer and the speeds he was doing. And as soon as he'd get an opportunity, he'd accelerate, he'd pull up on his back wheel, and he'd be flying down the motorway at 140 mile an hour on his back wheel for miles, weaving in and out of traffic. And it was like, holy crap. Hell of a thing. It really was. Jayhawk. Hello, mate. How you doing? Good to see you. Cheers for joining us, mate. Hope all's good with you. Haven't heard from you for a while. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Like a French moped, Mark. Yeah. Yeah. What's it called? What are they? A Vespa. They're worth some money. And the Lambrettas and the Vespas, they've always had a cult following, haven't they? Those things. A Honda Camino. I'm sure Mighty Car Mods did something with those in the last couple of years. Is that similar to a Cub? Or am I getting totally mixed up, Peter? I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, little yeah, is it similar to a Honda Cub? Or am I well off with that? Oh heck, there we go. Right, we're down to 47 litres in the tank here, so I reckon now is a perfect time to go fill up. But at 2 hours 40 minutes, I think it's going to be a perfect time as well. Well, firstly, to clean my tractor. Being a car detailer, a hobbyist car detailer, seeing vehicles like this, it just makes me think like it's covered in salt and it's going to fizzle away and I'm going to end up sweeping it off the driveway and not... yeah. 50cc, yeah. Look for Ghost Rider with the Hayabusa turbo on it. Yeah, it's a video that's a few years old, but it is crazy. It really is. They kind of they come in my head anyway because of the timing of when these videos were released, but they come as part and parcel with the Getaway in Stockholm videos that used to be on VHS years ago. They were some exciting, crazy stuff as well. Do you know what as well? No pun intended, but I'll never tire of the tyres when you wash your vehicle in FARMERSIM and you see the wet look on the tyres now. It's so cool. It really is. And I don't know why I'm washing this. I came here to fill it up with seed, knowing that I'm going to, at some point between now and the next episode, I'm going to fire it back out into the field. So all I'm doing here is wasting bloody water, aren't I? Yeah, and then I'm going to fire it back out into the field and get that field finished off. Here's a teacher for traffic, for driving teacher from... Is he? We're talking about Ghost Rider, Andreas. You're going to bounce from this work day and head home. Cheers, mate. Cheers, Owen. Have a great weekend. Chimera, thanks, mate. Appreciate you joining us. Cheers for your time, mate. And thank you for your generosity with the channel memberships, mate. Really appreciate it. Safe journey home, mate. I'll catch you later on Discord, no doubt. Take care, buddy. Are we talking about the same dude, Andreas? The guy who... Ghost Rider? He's a teacher for... a driving teacher from Sweden. I'll be crazy if he is. Here, everybody, don't do this. Right, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I say, 2 hours and 40 minutes, I think, is a pretty half-decent time for to call it here for the live stream. So, thank you very much for joining us, for joining me on this 2-year birthday celebration for the channel. I really do appreciate all your time, and I love the... been awesome to catch you all in the chat. He lives in Stockholm. There you go. Yeah, I knew it was somewhere around there, Andreas. Nice one. Yeah. So, yeah. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for joining us and joining me on your Friday night to celebrate the channel's 2-year anniversary, birthday, if you want to call it that. Thank you to everyone in the chat for coming by and making this time what it has been. It's been awesome having you all on board. J-Star, thanks, mate. Catch you later. Absolutely, mate. Appreciate that. To all of you, thank you for your ongoing support. I'm, keeping the channel going and all that. I think it's just wonderful. It really is. Cheers, Mark. Thanks for the stream. No problem at all, mate. You're very welcome. I'll hopefully get another one done at some point soon into the future. It's been great to catch up with you all. So yeah, as for the next episode of this one, obviously that field will be done and all that, but we'll get that sorted off camera. Thanks for sharing. Cheers, Pete. You're very welcome, Peter. Cheers, buddy. So, everyone, I suppose shameless self-promotion. If you are looking to purchase FARMERSIM 25 and you fancy supporting the channel, there's my promo code. I'm a tiny... That was another achievement that the channel's also made. I'm almost as well right up with the brink of being a bronze partner, so almost there. So if any of you are looking to make a purchase for FARMERSIM 25, please consider using my FARMERSIM promo code. It'd be greatly appreciated. Cheers, everybody. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you next time and in the next episode. Nice one, everyone. Take care.